Chapter 2496. 10 of our elders have fallen. What? Hearing their subordinates report, the 5 of them were completely stunned. 10 elders meant that the Empire had lost 10 universe legends and undying experts. It was a huge loss even for the Empire. What's going on? Bai Jing and Bai Hua's expression was extremely gloomy because they never thought such a thing would happen. I don't know. Don't know? At this time, Bai Hua seemed to have thought of something and immediately said, Ancestor, it's very likely that Longao is behind this. The reason? Bai Jing's voice was extremely gloomy because he didn't quite believe that this was Longao's doing. The entire vast starry sky knew about the grudge between the number 1 universe empire and Longao. The empire had been searching for Longao for so many years. If Longao appeared now, wouldn't he be walking right into a trap? Moreover, if Longao really had the strength to deal with the Empire, why didn't he attack them directly instead of launching a sneak attack? In the end, it was because Longao wasn't strong enough. Under normal circumstances, this would be the case. Bai Hua thought for a while and said, Ancestor, other than Longao, I really can't think of anyone else in the starry sky who would dare to attack us. I'm afraid even the other 8 half-step universe rulers wouldn't dare. There was no doubt about it. If that was the case, then this must be Longao's doing. How could Bai Jing be willing to lose 10 elders just like that? She coldly said, Longao, there is a door to heaven but you don't want to leave. There is no door to hell but you barge in. In that case, don't leave. Next, the 5 of them discussed how to deal with Longao because they wouldn't be able to stop Longao if they attacked him directly. Because the lesson of the past was still vivid in their minds, the only way was to think of a way. Just as Bai Hua guessed, the one who killed the 10 elders of the number 1 universe empire was Longao. Although Longao's cultivation base hadn't broken through to the starry sky immortal realm, his strength was enough to destroy a starry sky immortal realm expert. As long as he didn't face the 5 of them head-on, no one in the number 1 starry sky empire would be a match for Longao. While Longao and the first starry sky empire were fighting each other, suddenly, an earth-shattering event occurred in the vast starry sky. A huge crystal coffin suddenly appeared in the vast starry sky, spanning across the starry sky. No one knew where he came from. No one knew what was inside the crystal coffin. A crystal coffin appeared out of nowhere. What was going on? Countless people headed in the direction of the crystal coffin, including the 9 great starry sky empires, as well as Bai Hua and Bai Jing. Everyone was curious. Longao was no exception. The vast starry sky was boundless. The location where the crystal coffin appeared happened to be the intersection of the 9 grand starry skies, not belonging to any starry sky empire. It was surrounded by countless plains, and a huge crystal coffin floated in the middle. Countless people were watching, but no one dared to take a step forward, because the aura released from the crystal coffin was very strange. Some people had tried to step forward, but they were eroded by this strange aura and eventually committed suicide. It was a shocking sight. When Longao arrived, there were already countless people watching from all directions. At a glance, it was a very spectacular sight. Everyone had already guessed that this crystal coffin that had appeared out of thin air most likely contained some kind of treasure. Even if low-level starry sky cultivators did not have the strength to snatch the treasure, they would at least have the qualifications to visit it. The huge crystal coffin looked very spectacular, and it was transparent and white all over. There were some strange patterns engraved around the crystal coffin, which the countless people around couldn't understand at all. Look, 9 half-step starry sky rulers have appeared in front. Longao also saw that the 9 great starry sky empires each occupied one area. In addition to Bai Jing of the number 1 starry sky empire and Gongsun, he of the number 3 starry sky empire, the ancestors of the other 7 great starry sky empires had all appeared. It was shocking. In the vast universe, apart from the 12 universe rulers, there were 9 half-step universe rulers. The 9 half-step space dominators were Bai Jing from the first cosmic empire, Zhuge Ming from the second, Gongsun He from the third, Xia Feng from the fourth, Zhou Bolai from the fifth, Lu Mu from the sixth, Kong Xiao from the seventh, Fang Buping from the eighth, and Wei Bujing from the ninth. It had been so many years. The 9 half-step starry sky rulers had disappeared without a trace, and no one knew their whereabouts. However, no one knew why the 9 of them would appear at the same time. Originally, there were still cosmic empires that could threaten the status of the 9 great cosmic empires. However, with the addition of the 9 half-step cosmic rulers, the 9 great cosmic empires stabilized their status. No one would dare to provoke the 9 great starry sky empires unless they committed suicide or lost their minds. In any case, the strength of the 9 half-step starry sky rulers was not something to be trifled with. Longao didn't care much. Anyway, 1 half-step starry sky ruler and 9 half-step starry sky rulers were the same. As long as they didn't provoke him, he wouldn't bother provoking other half-step starry sky rulers. Ancestor, is there really a great treasure in the crystal coffin? No one could sense what was inside the crystal coffin because of the strange aura released from the crystal coffin. No one dared to approach it. Bai Jing was pleasantly surprised and said, "According to my senses, the aura released from the crystal coffin should be the aura of primal chaos." Others couldn't sense it, but that didn't mean Bai Jing couldn't. In any case, Bai Jing had a secret domain. Although the secret domain didn't have primal chaos energy, it had been refined by primal chaos energy and even refined into the heart of the secret domain. Of course, she could sense that the strange aura released from the crystal coffin was primal chaos energy. What did this mean? Didn't it mean that the crystal coffin contained primal chaos energy? Bai Jing wasn't the only one who knew about this. The other 8 half-step starry sky rulers also knew about it. As for the others, even if they didn't know about the primal chaos energy, they were sure that there must be a great treasure in the crystal coffin. Otherwise, the 9 half-step starry sky rulers wouldn't have come here. Everyone stared at the crystal coffin. In addition to strength, it also depended on luck. If they were unlucky, the 9 half-step starry sky rulers wouldn't be able to obtain the treasure in the crystal coffin. If they were lucky, even a first-grade starry sky cultivator would be able to obtain the great treasure in the crystal coffin. Just when everyone was thinking about how to obtain the treasure in the crystal coffin, the situation suddenly changed. 10 auras suddenly appeared, and it was very terrifying. Everyone looked at them in shock and retreated step by step. Chapter 2497. Starry Sky Ruler. When Bai Jing uttered the words, "Ruler of Stars," everyone was stunned. Of the countless people present, no more than 10 had actually seen the 12 starry sky rulers. 10 starry sky rulers? There were 12 starry sky rulers in the vast universe. Greetings, starry sky rulers. Everyone bowed respectfully because the 12 rulers of the starry sky were invincible in the vast starry sky. There was no doubt about that. The 10 didn't even nod. Everyone below the starry sky rulers were 10 starry sky rulers. They were Bloodfiend, Reincarnation Starry Sky Ruler, Slaughter Starry Sky Ruler, Luo Mu Starry Sky Ruler, Time Starry Sky Ruler, Space Starry Sky Ruler, Heavenly Dao Starry Sky Ruler, Devouring Starry Sky Ruler, Xian Tong Starry Sky Ruler, Darkness Starry Sky Ruler, and Clairvoyant Starry Sky Ruler, Master Clairvoyant. Primal Chaos Energy. It's actually Primal Chaos Energy. Of all the people present, only the 12 starry sky rulers and 9 half-step starry sky rulers could sense the primal chaos energy in the crystal coffin. The others couldn't. The 10 were pleasantly surprised. At the level of starry sky ruler, there was nothing in the universe that could attract their attention except primal chaos energy. They knew the primal chaos energy existed in the tablet, but they couldn't do anything about it. For so many years, they'd tried everything, but still couldn't get the primal chaos energy in the tablet. The 8 of you, listen up. If the crystal coffin really does contain primal chaos energy, don't fight for it. When the time comes, I'll give it to each of you fairly. But Master Clairvoyant's words enraged the 8, and they cursed him for being a good-for-nothing. In the past, they wouldn't have cared about him. After all, they were all starry sky rulers. Before they mastered primal chaos energy, the grade of the tablet didn't mean much. But now, the situation was completely different. None of them had truly refined the tablet. Before they became starry sky rulers, even if all 8 of them worked together, they wouldn't be a match for Master Clairvoyant. As for Yi Dugu, he naturally hoped his father would give him a share of the primal chaos energy. That way, he'd definitely get more. Master Clairvoyant was furious. Master Clairvoyant sneered. If he really did obtain primal chaos energy, he wouldn't give it to anyone but his own son. The 10 didn't rashly approach the crystal coffin. Others might not know what primal chaos energy meant, but it did not mean that the 10 of them did not. Even if they had the primal chaos stone tablets, they would still be killed by the power of primal chaos. There was no doubt about it. Everyone was wary of the 10 starry sky rulers. He felt helpless. Since the starry sky ruler was there, what could the others do? Not to mention ordinary starry sky cultivators, even the 9 half-step starry sky rulers wouldn't dare intervene casually. After all, half-step starry sky rulers wouldn't even take them seriously. Longao disguised himself in the crowd. As long as he did not take the initiative to make a move, he believed that no one would be able to recognize him. Longao was also surprised by the crystal coffin. Appearing out of nowhere, no one knew where the crystal coffin came from. Longao was certain that the crystal coffin contained primal chaos energy. Otherwise, it would not be able to release primal chaos energy. Leave? Even if there were 10 starry sky rulers and 9 half-step starry sky rulers gathered here, Longao was still unwilling to give up. Because his intuition told him that the thing inside the crystal coffin must be very important. If he could obtain it, it would be very useful to him. However, it was impossible to make a move under the watchful eyes of so many people. In the end, the 10 starry sky rulers did not continue to wait because the longer they delayed, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. They had to end the battle quickly. They were determined to obtain the primal chaos energy. The 10 starry sky rulers immediately released the primal chaos stone tablets, hoping to use the primal chaos stone tablets to understand what was going on with the crystal coffin. But the result? No matter who the 10 starry sky rulers were, even Master Clairvoyant, the primal chaos stone tablets couldn't get close to the crystal coffin. Once they did, they would be devoured by the primal chaos energy. The 10 starry sky rulers were depressed to the extreme, but this was normal. If primal chaos energy was so easy to deal with, it wouldn't be primal chaos energy. The 10 starry sky rulers did not drive away anyone around, including the 9 half-step starry sky rulers. In the end, the 10 starry sky rulers did not put anyone in their eyes. With the arrival of the 10 starry sky rulers, many people in the surroundings began to gradually leave. Because there were 10 starry sky rulers here, almost no one else could do anything. In the face of absolute temptation, there were still some who were not afraid of death. At least 80% of the people did not choose to leave, because everyone knew that as long as they were lucky enough to obtain the primal chaos energy, they might be able to surpass the starry sky rulers. At that time, it would not be difficult for them to dominate the vast starry sky. In the middle, the huge crystal coffin floated quietly. No matter how much primal chaos energy was released from the crystal coffin, whether it was a first-grade starry sky cultivator or a starry sky ruler, no one dared to approach it rashly. Until this moment, no one could sense what was going on with the crystal coffin. As the saying goes, the most mysterious thing is also the most terrifying thing. No matter who it was, no one could sense what was inside the crystal coffin. As for Longao, he was also very distressed because if he did not take action, no one would be able to recognize him. Once he tried to probe the crystal coffin, things would become very troublesome. Not to mention the others, just the 10 starry sky rulers alone could easily lock his position. Should he just sit there and wait for death? If that was the case, he might as well choose to give up and leave. Since he chose to stay, he would have to think of a way to probe the crystal coffin. Longao was not sure whether the 10 starry sky rulers could sense the primal chaos energy inside the crystal coffin. In his heart, he certainly did not want the 10 starry sky rulers to devour the primal chaos energy. Once they succeeded, he would become very passive. Even if the 12 people of his empire all became starry sky rulers in the future, he was afraid that they would not be able to compete with the divine mathematician and the others. The grade of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was useless because the grade of the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet could only be displayed through the fusion of Primal Chaos energy. This was the real reason why the divine mathematician had been trying to obtain the Primal Chaos energy for so many years. Otherwise, the other starry sky rulers would have almost no chance to refine the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet again. Chapter 2498. Gradually, Longao started to get anxious as well. He did not dare to act recklessly under such circumstances. What should he do? This was a thorny issue. He could neither advance nor retreat. It was a dilemma. Dozens of days passed in the blink of an eye. In these dozens of days, everyone tried to get close to the crystal coffin, and the 10 rulers did not stop them. Without a doubt, the 10 rulers were confident that if they could not do it, no one else could either. As the situation became more and more serious, more and more people began to leave. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. The gigantic crystal coffin began to vibrate violently, and everyone started to get restless once more. The crystal coffin was extremely strange. Crack, crack, crack. The lid of the crystal coffin began to vibrate violently, one sound after another. It was like thunder. "Father, what's going on?" Idugu was completely stunned. Even though he had yet to truly cultivate the Chaos Stone Tablet and become a ruler of the stars, he could clearly sense how terrifying the aura within the crystal coffin was. The godly mathematician's face was extremely grim as well. Even he did not know what was going on with the crystal coffin. Without any hesitation, the godly mathematician began to calculate. No matter how hard he tried, even with the help of the Chaos Stone Tablet, he could not figure out what was going on with the crystal coffin. Looking at his father's silence, Idugu knew what was going on. What was going on with the crystal coffin that even his father could not figure it out? Boom! A huge sound rang out. The coffin lid on the crystal coffin suddenly opened and slowly floated to one side of the coffin. Looking at the figure that floated out of the crystal coffin, everyone, including the 10 rulers of the stars, was stunned. They had not expected that there would be someone in the crystal coffin. There was someone. There was someone. What was going on? Everyone looked at the crystal coffin in shock, especially the figure that floated on top of it. Some of them could not resist the temptation and rushed up madly. On top of the crystal coffin, the floating human eagle was clearly a young girl. Her white robes fluttered, and her long black hair danced wildly. She looked extremely creepy. The 10 rulers of the stars did not stop her. As screams rang out one after another, the people who were running away were directly enveloped by the aura of primal chaos. Before anyone could react, everyone had already turned into nothingness and disappeared without a trace. Too ferocious. Everyone took a few steps back again because the terrifying power that had erupted from the crystal coffin was simply too terrifying. Even the 10 starry sky rulers didn't dare to casually go up there. The white-clothed girl quietly floated on top of the crystal coffin. Although it was strange, she was quiet, giving people an indescribable feeling. Dugu, wait a moment. If anyone dares to snatch it, kill them without mercy. Master God Diviner deliberately did this so that the other starry sky rulers and half-step starry sky rulers could hear. Of course, everyone was afraid of Master God Diviner. Considering how strong he was, if he went on a killing spree, no one would be able to stop him. Could it be that he had to hand it over to someone else? He felt helpless. Everyone had already guessed that the white-clothed girl floating in the crystal coffin was no ordinary person. She could even use the girl to gain the power of chaos and surpass Galaxy Ruler. Attack! Master God Diviner couldn't wait any longer. He immediately rushed towards the crystal coffin at a very fast speed. Apart from Master God Diviner, no one dared to move at all because Master God Diviner had already said that if anyone dared to move, there would only be one result. They would be instantly killed by Master God Diviner. Even if they obtained the power of chaos, it wouldn't be of much use. With Master God Diviner's strength, even the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers wouldn't be able to resist him, let alone the others. This was Master God Diviner's strength. But what made the others curious was why the other Starry Sky rulers didn't dare to attack Master God Diviner. Could it be that the rumors were true? Apart from Master God Diviner and Xiling, the other Starry Sky rulers were refining the Primal Chaos Tablet again and hadn't really become the so-called Starry Sky rulers again? The others didn't have much interest because even if the Starry Sky rulers hadn't refined the Primal Chaos Tablet again, if they were unlucky and tried to snatch it, the gains wouldn't make up for the losses. They might even lose their lives. As for the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers, even the peak Starry Sky Immortals and Starry Sky Immortals, they were a little restless. With Master God Diviner's deterrence, they didn't dare to act rashly, but that didn't mean they didn't dare to attack the other Starry Sky rulers. The 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers knew very well that if they could take the risk to kill the Starry Sky rulers and snatch the Primal Chaos Tablet, they would have a chance to become Starry Sky rulers. The other 8 Starry Sky rulers looked around and saw many people looking at them with burning eyes. The 8 of them certainly knew what was going on. However, the 8 of them weren't worried at all. As long as they wanted to leave, apart from Master God Diviner, no one in the entire vast starry sky could kill them. Even Master God Diviner could only suppress them, he couldn't really destroy them. This was the biggest advantage of devouring the Primal Chaos Tablet. When Master God Diviner made his move, Longao also made his move because he couldn't just watch the white-robed girl fall into Master God Diviner's hands. His intuition told him that the white-robed girl wasn't as simple as she seemed. She might be the key to devouring the Primal Chaos Tablet. Someone made a move? Now that Longao had disguised himself, it was very difficult for people to recognize him. This time, Longao also wanted to try his luck. He used the power of the Primal Chaos 9 axes to cover his original aura. He didn't know if he didn't try, but he was shocked when he found that even Master God Diviner couldn't sense his aura with the power of the Primal Chaos 9 axes. In this case, he didn't have the slightest scruple and could go all out. However, Longao didn't choose to meet force with force. Given Master God Diviner's strength, if he chose to meet force with force, then there was no doubt that Master God Diviner could kill him in an instant. Master God Diviner never thought that someone would dare to make a move under his deterrence. This person really didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Even the other Starry Sky rulers didn't dare to make a move. Who was this person? However, no matter who it was, Master God Diviner had to kill him without mercy. Otherwise, he would lose his prestige. Everyone was completely dumbfounded because they also didn't think that someone would dare to provoke Master God Diviner. Chapter 2499. He was courting death. Just when everyone thought that this person would be killed by Master Godly Mathematician, suddenly the situation changed. The white-clothed girl floating on top of the crystal coffin suddenly stood up and slowly opened her eyes. Her eyes were empty and vacant. Even Master Godly Mathematician was a little afraid because he didn't know what was going on between the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin. If he didn't get what he wanted and fell into a passive position, wouldn't the gains not make up for the losses? Master Godly Mathematician stopped abruptly because he could clearly sense the chaotic energy released by the crystal coffin under the white-clothed girl. Even he didn't dare to casually touch it. As for Longao, he didn't stop at all and continued to rush forward. With Longao's speed, he arrived in the blink of an eye. Was Longao not afraid of the chaotic energy's destruction? Definitely not. Longao wasn't a star ruler who could control the chaotic energy. How could he resist it? The main reason why Longao could pass through the layers of chaotic energy and reach the crystal coffin was because of the mysterious energy released by the Chaos Palace. Without the Chaos Palace, Longao wouldn't have dared to act rashly. Longao didn't know why, but when he was rushing towards the crystal coffin, the Chaos Palace, which hadn't moved at all, suddenly released a mysterious energy that blocked the crystal coffin's chaotic energy for him. In the blink of an eye. "Who are you?" His voice was extremely cold and emotionless. Smiling, Longao said, "My name is Longao. Come with me." "You dare?" Not only Master Godly Mathematician, but the others were also a little confused. If this person came out of nowhere and took the white-clothed girl away, wouldn't it be a waste? Master Godly Mathematician and the others naturally knew what it meant if this person took the white-clothed girl away. If this person could obtain the chaotic energy, no one could be sure what would happen. They couldn't let this person go. The white-clothed girl nodded expressionlessly. In the next second, the huge crystal coffin disappeared with a whoosh and returned to the white-clothed girl's body. Holding the white-clothed girl's hand, Longao prepared to leave. He was very afraid of Master Godly Mathematician and the others, especially his identity, because Longao wasn't sure if his identity would be exposed. There was no doubt that he couldn't control the Chaos Palace. Who knew if the Chaos Palace would continue to help him hide his aura? "You want to leave?" Master Godly Mathematician sneered. His palm strike seemed weak, but it caused the faces of the onlookers to flicker, and they began to back up. In all the years that had passed, no one had ever seen Master God Diviner in action. It was hard to believe that the sovereign of the starry sky was so strong. Of all the people present, no one was a match for Master God Diviner. The palm energy was too fast. Even Longao could not be faster than the palm energy. Master God Diviner was different from the others. His seemingly casual palm strike had already sealed the surrounding space. Now, not only was Longao unable to use spatial teleportation, but he was also unable to step into the primal Chaos Palace. They were in big trouble. Longao knew very well that he had underestimated Master Godly Mathematician's strength. He deserved to be called Master Godly Mathematician. He was far stronger than other masters of the starry sky. "Get lost!" At this moment, the white-clothed girl suddenly snorted and sent out a palm strike. Their palms collided. It was impossible for him to fight the God Diviner head-on. This was a well-known fact. After all, Master God Diviner was the #1 expert in the universe, and no one could stand up to him. But the result? The white-clothed girl's casual palm strike was even stronger than Master Godly Mathematician's. She didn't move at all, but Master Godly Mathematician retreated dozens of steps. Master God Diviner wasn't the only one who was shocked. Everyone else was completely stunned. The fact that the white-robed girl had been able to defeat Master God Diviner with a single move was enough to explain everything. "Chaos Tablet. You've mastered the power of chaos." After hearing Master Godly Mathematician's words, the other 9 masters of the starry sky, half-step masters, starry sky immortals, and peak starry sky immortals were all stunned. They all knew what it meant for a starry sky ruler to master the power of chaos. None of the 12 masters of the starry sky, including Master Godly Mathematician, could truly master the power of chaos. Could it be that the white-clothed girl had obtained the original Chaos Tablet? It must be known that when the primal chaos plane had suddenly descended, 12 primal chaos stone steels had appeared. To this day, no one knew that the 12 primal chaos stone steels had been obtained by Longao. Everyone only knew that the 12 primal chaos stone steels were scattered throughout the primal chaos plane, and no one had been able to obtain them. If there were no surprises, then the white-clothed girl should have obtained one of the chaos tablets and obtained the power of chaos. Such strength was enough to put her above Master Godly Mathematician and the others. However, Master God Diviner and the others weren't angry at all. Instead, they were overjoyed. They knew that if they could capture this white-robed girl, they would be able to learn how to control the power of primal chaos. If that was the case, then they would be able to get what they wanted. If the white-clothed girl was awake, no one would dare to attack her, including Master Godly Mathematician. However, the white-clothed girl had an empty expression on her face. This was the best opportunity to deal with the white-clothed girl. For the power of chaos, Master Godly Mathematician and the others wouldn't choose to give up. However, if they were alone and the white-clothed girl started a massacre, no one would be able to leave alive. This was the terror of a starry sky ruler who had mastered the power of chaos. Let's attack together. If we obtain the method to master the power of chaos, we will share it. If it were anyone else, the other masters of the starry sky wouldn't be able to wait for Master Godly Mathematician's death. Only the power of chaos was something that they had devoured. Once they obtained the method to master the power of chaos, it would only be beneficial for them. Without the slightest hesitation, the other 9 masters of the starry sky attacked at the same time. Not only that, but the 9 half-step masters of the starry sky also didn't fall behind. A total of 19 super experts, based on the white-clothed girl's current state, would be difficult to deal with. Longao took a step forward and arrived in front of the white-clothed girl. Although he already knew that the white-clothed girl was a master of the starry sky and had mastered the power of chaos, her current situation was very special. 1 against 19. Not to mention the current Longao. Even if Longao had devoured the chaos tablets and become a starry sky ruler, he might not be able to defeat 19 people. Chapter 2500. The white-robed girl's eyes were empty. She had only struck out in a moment of desperation. At this moment, the white-robed girl was like a zombie right now. Looking at the situation, Longao was exasperated as well. There was no way Longao could step into the Chaos Hall against the combined forces of 19 powerful beings. If this were to carry on, he would be dead for sure. Life and death. Boom. 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 The God Diviner and the others were way too fast. Furthermore, they were attacking from all directions. Due to his carelessness, Longao was hit consecutively. Spitting out fresh blood, his face turned pale. If it were anyone else, they would have died long ago under such a horrifying attack. Legend of the universe? The other party was just a legend of the universe? If the other party was a ruler of the universe, or even a half-step ruler of the universe, they would still be able to accept it. But the other party was just a mere legend of the universe. How could he survive the combined attacks of 19 of them? If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would have found it hard to believe. But even so, the 19 of them did not choose to give up. And it wasn't just 19 of them. More and more people joined the battle. At a glance, it was as though they were an army of thousands against Longao alone. Fighting against countless people by himself, even if Longao had 3 heads and 6 arms, he believed that he would still die without a doubt. Longao was very clear in his heart. If it was him in the past, he would have definitely died this time. However, the Primal Chaos Seal had turned into a Primal Chaos 9-colored lotus and reproduced 9 live. After completely fusing together, he was almost immortal. But even so, he couldn't fall into the hands of these people. Otherwise, things would get really troublesome. What should he do? Longao retreated continuously. If he were alone, he might have had a chance to escape. But the situation was different now. There was still the white-robed girl beside him. If he were to dodge, he would definitely implicate the white-robed girl. Even if the white-robed girl was a ruler of the universe and had mastered the power of chaos, she was clearly not in her right mind right now. At the most helpless moment, the white-robed girl would not attack at all. That was the key. And it was because of that that the surrounding people dared to attack him and the white-robed girl so brazenly. If the white-robed girl was in her right mind, would they still dare to attack her? Even the God Diviner would not dare to attack her so casually, let alone ordinary people. The current situation. Longao could not use any of his ultimate skills. He could not even use the Chaos Axe because these were his signature items. Once he used them, his identity would definitely be exposed. It was the passive of the passive. If he relaxed even a little bit, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. Xiao Chen punched with both fists. Every time he attacked, he would bring about a bloody storm. Although he could not use the primal Chaos Axe, Longao used his finger as a sword. If he used the first axe, Hell Devouring, the power was not to be underestimated. All of a sudden, the girl in white snorted coldly. This time, the cold snort didn't matter, but it really scared everyone around. What had just happened was still vivid in his mind. The white-robed girl had casually used a single move to defeat the marvelous mathematician, the #1 powerhouse of the vast starry sky. What did this mean? The white-clothed girl's strength was too terrifying. If she wanted to kill other people, it would be a matter of seconds. Although the white-clothed girl was delirious, no one knew when she would attack. Every time she attacked, it was earth-shattering. It would be a lie to say that no one was afraid. Everyone around scattered. Even the 10 universe rulers and 9 half-step universe rulers did not dare to fight her head-on. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Longao left as quickly as possible. Longao and the white-clothed girl's speed was too fast. In a short while, the two had disappeared without a trace. They left just like that? Looking at the two who had disappeared without a trace, everyone was completely dumbfounded. Everyone was a little confused. Under the siege of so many powerhouses, the two could still leave. It was really unbelievable. If it was someone else, it would be fine. But now? 10 universe rulers, 9 half-step universe rulers, countless universe immortals and peak universe immortals besieged a little universe legend, but this person still escaped safely. Was this true? Until now, no one chose to believe it. In the vast starry sky, who could do this? Even the monstrous genius Longao could not do it. Could it be Longao? Some people guessed that it was Longao, but this was a little ridiculous. Even if Longao had always been heaven-defying, it was impossible for him to be heaven-defying to this extent. It was almost impossible for him to fight against universe rulers and half-step universe rulers. Father, what should we do now? Yidugu's face was very gloomy because he never thought that even his father could escape. It was simply inconceivable. The marvelous mathematician thought for a while and said, "No matter what happens, we have to find the traces of this person and the white-clothed girl." If it had been something else, the marvelous mathematician would not have cared so much. Losing it would not have mattered, but the primal chaos force was the only thing he could not give up. The key to obtaining the primal chaos force was the white-clothed girl. Because of this, he had to find her. As for the God Diviner's primal chaos tablet, he had not been able to grasp the primal chaos force within the tablet after so many years. Unless he could deal with the primal chaos rock or enter the primal chaos spring, it was almost impossible to grasp the primal chaos force within the tablet. Yidugu nodded, and the father and son immediately left. Of course, the others knew what the father and son meant by leaving. The other 8 universe rulers also did not linger and immediately dispersed. "Father, if we go after them now, won't the marvelous mathematician and the others be dissatisfied?" Bai Hua was very worried. After all, the strength of the 10 universe rulers was there for all to see. If they angered the 10 universe rulers, they would have to bear the consequences. How could Bai Jing not know about Bai Hua's worries? However, the primal chaos force was too important for him. If he could obtain it, he would be able to surpass the universe rulers. At that time, he would be the sole ruler of the vast starry sky. The white-clothed girl's strength was enough to prove everything. Even a casual move from her was not something the marvelous mathematician could resist. Thinking of this, Bai Jing sneered and said, "Find them. No matter what, you have to find the traces of these two people." Not only Bai Jing, but the other 8 half-step universe rulers also did not choose to give up. 9 great starry sky empires, countless starry sky empires, plus the 10 universe rulers, the vast starry sky suddenly changed. Chapter 2501. Carrying the white-robed girl, Longao sprinted madly, his speed rising to the limit. Only after confirming that no one was chasing them did Longao let out a long sigh of relief. As for the primal chaos palace, that was where Longao was the most depressed. Before, when Master God Diviner and the others had locked onto him, it had been very difficult for him to find a chance to enter. But then, when Longao had left with the white-robed girl, he had already found a chance to enter the primal chaos palace. But the result had shocked him. He had no problem entering the primal chaos palace. Only the white-robed girl had been unable to enter. What was going on? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. "What's your name?" The white-robed girl still hadn't woken up. Her eyes were empty, as though she had no consciousness. However, Longao was certain that this white-robed girl definitely had a primal chaos tablet within her body, and that she had already mastered the primal chaos energy within it. In other words, the white-robed girl in front of him was stronger than Master God Diviner and the others. She was the true number 1 expert in the universe. But no matter how strong she was, given the white-robed girl's current situation, it was all nonsense. Longao naturally knew that if Master God Diviner had locked onto their position, then the white-robed girl would most likely be in trouble. To be able to control the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos tablet, one could imagine how important the white-robed girl was to Master God Diviner and the others. No matter what happened, they couldn't let Master God Diviner and the others find the white-robed girl. Could it be that Longao didn't have any selfish motives? That was impossible, because Longao had his own selfish motives as well, and that was the attributeless primal chaos tablet he had devoured. Longao was also extremely certain that even if he could completely refine the primal chaos tablet, he would at most become a ruler of the universe. To control the primal chaos energy within the tablet was virtually impossible. If he could borrow the white-robed girl's power to control the primal chaos tablet, that would be a very good thing for him. The white-robed girl didn't answer. Her eyes were still empty, and she stared coldly at Longao. It was quite depressing. Longao didn't know what was going on with this white-clothed girl. Since she had already grasped the power of chaos within the Chaos Stone Tablet, under normal circumstances, there should be no one in the vast starry skies that was a match for this white-clothed girl. Not even Master God Diviner could stand up to it, let alone anyone else. This was the strength of the white-clothed girl. That was indeed the case. Longao couldn't figure out who could make the girl in white look like this. Could it be because of the primal chaos stone tablets? None of the 12 rulers of the stars, including Master God Diviner, had been able to successfully control the primal chaos power within the chaos steels. Only the white-robed young woman had succeeded. Other than this possibility, Longao couldn't think of any other possibility. Seeing that the girl in white didn't answer, Longao had no other choice but to give up. The vast starry sky was boundless. Ever since the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl had appeared, the entire universe had been shaken. Moreover, a mysterious person had appeared. He was only a Star Realm legend, but he had been able to disappear right under the noses of Star Realm rulers and half-step Star Realm rulers. It completely shocked the vast starry sky. Besides this, countless people throughout the vast starry sky, including the 10 Star Realm rulers, the 9 great starry sky empires, and countless other empires, were frantically searching for traces of the white-clothed girl and the mysterious expert. However, in the vast sea of people, trying to find them was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It was almost impossible. Even so, no one was willing to give up. The reason was simple. Everyone knew that the white-clothed girl wasn't just a Star Realm ruler, she had also mastered the primal chaos power within the Chaos Steels. If they could find her, they might be able to become a Star Realm ruler, or even a supreme existence above the other Star Realm rulers. If the white-clothed girl was at her peak, no one would dare to act rashly. Even the 10 Star Realm rulers and Master God Diviner wouldn't dare to act rashly. But the current situation was completely different. The white-clothed girl wasn't in a clear state of mind and would only occasionally act. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to deal with her. Countless people were searching the vast starry sky for traces of the white-clothed girl and the mysterious expert, conducting a carpet search. Most importantly, 10 Star Realm rulers and 9 half-step Star Realm rulers were involved in this search. It was obvious what this meant. Longao had already guessed that countless people in the vast starry sky would take action. The white-clothed girl's allure was too great. If these people chose to give up so easily, they wouldn't be these people. Longao took the white-clothed girl into a low-level plane. It was a very ordinary low-level plane, and a very secretive one. Even so, Longao knew very well that no matter how secretive the plane was, it would be discovered eventually. If that was the case, it would be very difficult for him to resist the joint attack of so many people. However, Longao already had a countermeasure. Even if he couldn't take the white-clothed girl into the Primal Chaos Hall, as long as he was willing, he could casually find a hidden place in the plane. No one, not even Master God Diviner, would be able to lock onto his position. On this point, Longao was still confident. Moreover, there was also the white-clothed girl. If Master God Diviner could grasp the primal chaos power within the primal chaos tablet, then it would be a different story. He would definitely be able to lock onto their position. But now, the situation was completely different. Longao opened up an extremely hidden underground cave residence in the plane. He guarded the white-clothed girl at all times. He did not leave her side at all because he did not know when the white-clothed girl would leave. With the white-clothed girl's current situation, once she left, he was afraid that it would not bode well for her. Longao looked at the white-clothed girl in front of him. He was also very vigilant because he did not know when the white-clothed girl in front of him would make a move. The white-clothed girl in front of him had defeated the God Diviner with just one move. If this kind of move was used on him, would he be able to withstand it? Without a doubt, although Longao was confident in himself, he couldn't do anything about the white-clothed girl. The white-clothed girl sat quietly on the stone bench, looking at Longao with empty eyes. At this moment, the white-clothed girl suddenly smiled. It was an indifferent smile, which was very strange. What was going on? Longao was a little confused by the white-clothed girl's sudden smile. He didn't know what was going on with the white-clothed girl. But even so, Longao didn't dare to move. He didn't know if the white-clothed girl would act. In the end, Longao was still very afraid of the white-clothed girl. Not to mention Longao, even Master God Diviner was afraid of the white-clothed girl, because the white-clothed girl's strength was enough to sweep through the universe. Chapter 2502. What's your name? Longao was a little shocked to see the girl in white suddenly ask for his name. Could it be that the girl in white had regained her consciousness? After taking a closer look, Longao still believed that the girl in white had not regained her consciousness. What was going on? Why would the girl in white ask for his name out of the blue? However, Longao still replied with a smile, "My name is Longao, what about you?" Song Lin. There was a loud boom. As soon as the two words Song Lin were uttered, Longao's mind exploded with a buzz. If not for his good luck, he believed that just this alone would have been enough to take his life. What was going on? Longao was a little dumbfounded. He took 3 steps back and looked at the girl in white in front of him in shock. Of course, he knew that the 2 words the girl in white had just said, Song Lin, was her name. In that case, Longao could not figure out why this would happen when the girl in white said her name. "I like the aura on your body very much. You have to protect me well." As she spoke, the girl in white's eyes, which had just regained consciousness, suddenly became empty. What did this mean? Longao did not understand. Even if he wanted to continue asking, it was not possible. Song Lin? Song Lin? Song Lin? For some reason, Longao had an intuition that the identity of the girl in white in front of him was definitely not simple. Not to mention her strength, just her name alone was enough to deter him. He even knew very well that just the name of the girl in white was enough to disperse his primordial spirit. It was too terrifying. What was the background of the girl in white? Longao did not stay in the cave all the time. Instead, he left with the girl in white and inquired about Song Lin everywhere. Regardless, he had not been in the vast starry sky for too long. He did not know the named Song Lin at all. But the result? After inquiring for a few months, he still did not find out anything about Song Lin. She was too mysterious. In the end, Longao had no choice but to bring Song Lin back to the Soaring Dragon Empire. As soon as he returned, Longao went to look for Xiling. Xiling was the Sword-Will Starry Sky Dominator and had lived for countless years. He believed that no one could compare with him in the vast starry sky. Longao, what happened? Xiling didn't know anything about the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl because the entire Soaring Dragon Empire was sealed off. Longao didn't hide anything and told him everything that had happened. Xiling was shocked when she heard that. She stared at the woman in white. She had never thought that the woman before her was not only the ruler of a galaxy, but she had even grasped chaotic force. In that case, even if he became a ruler of the universe, he wouldn't be a match for the girl in white. Looking at Xiling's expression, Longao knew that even Xiling didn't know the identity of the girl in white. As expected, shaking her head helplessly, Xiling said helplessly, "Longao, I know what you mean. According to what you just said, the girl in white almost shattered your primordial spirit just by saying her name. With such strength, I'm afraid that even if I grasped the chaotic force in the chaotic stone tablet, I might not be a match for her." With regards to this point, Longao had already thought of it. Just her name alone had almost shattered his primordial spirit. Such strength was indeed terrifying. If he hadn't experienced it himself, he would have found it hard to believe that there was such a super-existence in the vast starry sky. It was unbelievable. "Xiling, you don't have the slightest impression of Song Lin?" Shaking her head. "Longao, I've never heard anything about Song Lin. To be honest, with the white-clothed girl's strength, she's definitely not a nameless person. Logically speaking, I should know about her." If Xiling knew, then the clairvoyant master and the others would know as well. If that was the case, would Song Lin still be alive? Song Lin's identity was still a mystery. If even Xiling and the clairvoyant master didn't know, then no one else would. It was depressing. "Longao, what are you going to do now?" How could Longao not know what Xiling meant? He asked, "Xiling, what do you think I should do?" "Longao, I know you want to rely on this person to obtain the chaotic force. But now that things have happened, everyone in the vast starry sky, including the clairvoyant master, won't let this matter rest. Once this matter is revealed to be your doing, then—" At this point, Violet's spirit did not continue, but the meaning of her words was very clear. Xiling, I have full confidence that even the clairvoyant master and the others can't know about this. It's easier said than done for them to lock onto my location. Longao was not a fool. Of course, he knew very well that the marvelous mathematician and the others must have thought of him first because of the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl. In the entire vast starry sky, it was rare for a starry sky legend to disappear under the noses of countless powerhouses. In fact, it was almost impossible. It was just that the clairvoyant master wasn't fully confident and wouldn't come looking for him for the time being. Longao, are you worried that the clairvoyant master will come looking for you? Longao nodded. That's right. According to my guess, if nothing unexpected happens, the clairvoyant master will come looking for me in less than 3 months. Xiling was very worried. She naturally knew about Longao's current situation. As long as he took one wrong step, he would be consigned to eternal damnation. Just as Xiling was about to say something, Longao said, Xiling, I know you're worried, but I can't be passive. I have to take the initiative. I came back this time to ask you to help me take care of Tsang Lin. As for me, I'll go to the Martial Heaven continent. That way, the clairvoyant master won't have any other ideas. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Longao naturally knew that the current situation was very unfavorable for him. If he didn't go to the Tianwu continent, then the divine mathematician would definitely begin to calculate him. As the saying goes, it's better to be safe than sorry. If the divine mathematician were to calculate the location of his empire, then he would be in big trouble. Longao naturally wasn't afraid of falling out with the clairvoyant master. In any case, he had the primal chaos hall. However, the current situation was a bit special. Other than protecting Tsang Lin, he also had to protect the empire. If the clairvoyant master managed to calculate that he was the culprit, then the clairvoyant master would definitely attack him. If that happened, then let alone the white-robed woman, even his empire would suffer a calamity. Now wasn't the time to fall out with the clairvoyant master. If the person who obtained the primal chaos tablet in his empire could become the ruler of the starry sky, then the situation would be completely different. Chapter 2503. It was all because of the primal chaos 9-colored lotus. If the primal chaos seal hadn't transformed into the primal chaos 9-colored lotus, Master God Diviner would definitely have been able to lock onto him. It was truly a blessing in disguise. With Xiling taking care of the white-robed girl, Longao was at ease. After leaving the soaring dragon plane, Longao didn't hesitate at all. He immediately headed for the Martial Heaven continent. The Martial Heaven continent was only a middle-grade plane, but no one dared to look down on it. That was because it had a ruler of the starry sky overseeing it. The Martial Heaven continent. In the outer sea, within the Crystal Palace, Master God Diviner was a bit surprised by Longao's sudden appearance. The way he saw it, the legend of the starry sky that had suddenly appeared was very likely Longao. If it was Longao, would Longao still dare to come? Master God Diviner was a bit depressed. He had devoured the primal chaos tablet and become the ruler of the starry sky, but there were still people he couldn't divine. Longao was one of them. In the past, he had been able to divine a bit, but for some reason, in the past few decades, he hadn't been able to divine Longao's identity. What was going on? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. However, Master God Diviner wasn't too shocked. He had already known that Longao wasn't an ordinary person. He just hadn't expected Longao to grow so quickly. Longao, why have you come this time? Longao nodded. He had come to prove that what had happened had nothing to do with him. Senior, I came this time because I heard that a crystal coffin and a white-robed girl appeared. Is that true? That's right. Not only is he the ruler of the starry sky, but he also controls the primal chaos energy within the primal chaos tablet. If we can find him, I'll definitely be able to divine the Primal Chaos Tablet's primal chaos energy. Master God Diviner was completely confident in that. As for his suspicions about Longao, they were completely gone. First of all, as far as Master God Diviner was concerned, even if Longao was special, there was no way that a legendary of the Starry Sky would be able to stand up to him and the other sovereigns of the Starry Sky. Secondly, if the previous incident was the doing of Longao, then unless there was something wrong with his brain, Longao would definitely not walk into the trap. If it wasn't Longao, who else could it be? Master God Diviner was also extremely depressed. Even he could not deduce the culprit. As for the white-clothed girl, it was even more impossible. After all, the white-clothed girl was the ruler of the Starry Skies who controlled the chaotic force. Who exactly was the other party? If he could fully grasp the primal chaos energy within the tablet, he would definitely be able to deduce it. Mastering the power of primal chaos was the key. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to find traces of the two of them in the vast starry sky. Senior, could it be that even with your divination ability, you are unable to deduce their tracks? Master God Diviner nodded helplessly. Sighing deeply, Master God Diviner said helplessly, "If I'm not mistaken, the primal chaos tablet the white-clothed girl devoured must have been one of the 12 scattered throughout the starry sky." Longao laughed inwardly, unperturbed. He had acquired all 12 of the Chaos Stone steels in the Chaos Plane, and only a few people knew about it. Not even Master God Diviner knew about it. I don't know what method the white-clothed girl used. Not only was she able to devour the tablets in such a short time, but she was also able to grasp the power of primal chaos. Of course, Master God Diviner didn't know that the primal chaos tablet the white-clothed girl had devoured wasn't one of the 12 from before. Everyone knew that there were only 12 primal chaos tablets in the vast starry sky. However, Longao knew full well that there weren't only 12 primal chaos tablets in the starry sky. Even the 12 from before weren't the limit. According to Longao's conjecture, who knew how many primal chaos tablets there were in the starry sky? Not to mention anything else, just the primal chaos plane alone, including himself and the white-clothed girl, had a total of 14 primal chaos tablets. Although the white-clothed girl has successfully grasped the power of primal chaos within the primal chaos tablet, she might have suffered a backlash from the power of primal chaos. Otherwise, she would be number 1 in the entire starry sky. Even now, the white-clothed girl was still number 1. Before, Song Lin had only casually used a single move to force Master God Diviner back. Such strength was enough to shake the entire starry sky. And this was when Song Lin's mind wasn't clear. If she was, then let alone Master God Diviner, even if all the powerhouses joined forces, they still wouldn't be her match. This was without a doubt. Longao, are you willing to help me lock onto the white-clothed girl and this person's position? This again. Longao couldn't understand why Master God Diviner was always looking for him, as if there was nothing he couldn't do. It was like this before, and it was still like this now. Senior, forgive me for speaking bluntly, but if even you can't deduce their location, how can anyone else? I know my own limits. I have no way of locking on to their position. Even if there was a way, Longao knew that he couldn't do it. Master God Diviner wasn't angry at all about this, because he also knew that with Longao's current strength, there was no way he could help him. Instead, he directly told him that this matter was related to Longao. Could it be that he was overthinking things? Smiling, Master God Diviner said, "I'm forcing you. Longao, you should increase your strength as quickly as possible. According to my calculations, a great calamity is about to befall the vast starry sky. When that time comes," Master God Diviner didn't continue, but the meaning behind his words was very clear. Longao nodded. "Thank you for the reminder, Senior. I know what to do." Even if there wasn't a great calamity in the starry sky, he still had to increase his strength as quickly as possible. Because with the appearance of the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin, Longao had gradually discovered that the vast starry sky was a bit strange, because such a thing had never happened before. But what about now? First, it was the 12 Chaos Steels from the Chaos Plane. Then, it was his Chaos Palace and Chaos Act. Now, it was the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl. One after another, and the interval between them wasn't very far. He wouldn't believe that there wasn't something fishy going on. Because of this, Longao had decided that he had to break through from the Starry Sky Legend realm to the Starry Sky Immortal realm as soon as possible. But for some reason, no matter what he did, he couldn't break through. Such a thing had never happened before. The only way was to hope that the Chaos Palace would release a mysterious power, and by devouring it, he might be able to break through the Starry Sky Immortal realm in one fell swoop. Chapter 2504. After leaving the Crystal Palace, Longao left the Martial Heaven continent. Longao was very depressed about his cultivation base. Even now, he was still unable to truly control the Primal Chaos Palace. If he couldn't control the Primal Chaos Palace, then he wouldn't be able to control its mysterious energy. Longao was very clear that it was because he had devoured the Primal Chaos Palace's mysterious energy that he had broken through twice so quickly to reach his current realm. If he hadn't devoured that mysterious energy, would he have been able to reach the Starry Sky Legend realm? What should he do? He couldn't think of anything. Even now, Longao couldn't figure out what had happened to him. Why had he been unable to break through for so long? The Starry Sky Immortal realm was the limit. The outer sea, the Crystal Palace. As soon as Longao left, Yidugu appeared. "Father, do you really believe that what happened before wasn't Longao's doing?" Yidugu didn't know whether his father believed it or not, but in any case, he absolutely didn't. In his opinion, in the entire Starry Sky, other than Longao, there was no one else capable of such a thing. A Starry Sky Legend. Longao's cultivation base had also reached the Starry Sky Legend realm. However, the God Diviner shook his head. It shouldn't be Longao. Yidugu seemed to want to say something, but the God Diviner cut him off. "Let's stop here. It definitely isn't Longao's doing. What we need to do now is lock onto their tracks as quickly as possible." What the God Diviner feared the most was that the white-robed girl had fallen into the hands of a half-step Starry Sky ruler. Once that happened, the consequences would be unimaginable. That was especially true of the person who had saved the white-robed girl. Even if that person was only a Starry Sky Legend, he wouldn't believe that someone who could save the white-robed girl from their hands didn't have any power. The God Diviner even thought that this person might not be a Starry Sky Legend, but a Starry Sky ruler. Seeing that his father didn't want to talk about Longao, Yidugu didn't continue to pursue the matter. "Father, even you can't calculate their track. This matter is a bit difficult." How could the God Diviner not know this? The longer he delayed, the worse it would be for him. "Father, why don't we join forces with the other rulers of the Starry Sky, including the 9 half-step rulers of the Starry Sky, the Peak Rat race and the Peak Dragon race?" Master God Diviner shook his head. "We can't do that. The girl in white and the mysterious man are variables. If we join forces with others, we might lose the girl in white." The white-clothed girl was determined to win. No matter what happened, he had to control the white-clothed girl. "Father, if we don't join forces with the others, we will be in a very passive position if the girl in white is taken away by others." Of course, Yidugu knew the seriousness of the matter. Now, the white-clothed girl's strength was there for all to see. She could easily defeat her father with a casual move. In the end, catching the white-clothed girl didn't require strength, but luck. Until now, neither the marvelous mathematician nor Yidugu could figure out why the mysterious man could take the white-clothed girl away, but the white-clothed girl did not deal with the mysterious man. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he would have found it hard to believe. Let's not talk about this for now. The most important thing now is to do everything possible to find a way to lock onto the mysterious man. It was easy to think about locking onto the mysterious man, but it was very difficult to do it, because until now, no one knew the identity of the mysterious man. Even his father couldn't figure out the identity of the mysterious man. It was really incredible, but he knew. His father was the Starry Sky Master. Even if he hadn't mastered the power of chaos in the Chaos Stone Tablet, he could basically calculate anyone and anything. Why couldn't he calculate the mysterious man and the white-clothed girl? Father, what should we do now? He bowed his head and pondered for a while. After pondering for dozens of minutes, the marvelous mathematician said, "Dugu, come with me." Dugu didn't know what his father was talking about, but he still followed. After leaving the Sky Marshal Plain, Longao didn't immediately return to the Soaring Dragon continent, because he wasn't sure whether the marvelous mathematician and Dugu believed him. If they followed him, then things would be troublesome. As the saying goes, caution is the parent of safety. He didn't care about himself. The most important thing was the so-called empire. No matter what, he couldn't let anything happen to the empire. About 3 days later, just as Longao was preparing to return to the Soaring Dragon Empire and had just stepped into the plane, with a swoosh, Ling had already appeared in front of him. She was really too fast. What did this mean? Looking at Ling, who was so close to him, Lin wasn't by his side. Longao was very curious. He didn't know what was going on with Ling. Did something happen to Lin? Before Longao could ask, Ling said, "Longao, something bad happened." "What happened?" 3 days ago, when you just left the plane, Lin disappeared. I couldn't find you, nor could I go to find you. I could only guard here. Look, what happened? Longao was afraid that Lin would disappear, so he asked Ling to guard Lin. However, he never expected that Lin would leave in the end. If other rulers of the stars found Lin, things would be really troublesome. Longao didn't blame Ling because he knew very well that even if it wasn't Ling and someone else was guarding Lin would still disappear. Even the clairvoyant couldn't make Lin stay, let alone others. Ling, we can only search for Lin secretly. We can't do it openly. If the clairvoyant finds out, we'll be in big trouble. Ling didn't say much, but she felt very guilty. Of course, she knew what Lin meant. If Lin was here, whether it was Longao herself or others, they might be able to obtain the chaos power in the Chaos Stone Tablet. However, with Lin's departure, all of this became impossible. Longao seemed to be able to see the guilt in Ling's heart. He just smiled and didn't say anything, because any comforting words would be useless at this time. Longao, I know what you're worried about. Just as you said, we can't openly search for Lin's traces. We can only choose to search in secret. However, it's almost impossible to find Lin in the vast starry sky. Longao knew what Ling said, but he was a little unwilling to give up just like that. Lin was too important, and it would determine whether he could master the chaos power. Not only that, but since the first time he saw Lin, Longao had an inexplicable feeling. He couldn't describe it, but it was very special. He was also very curious. The girl in white attacked everyone, including the clairvoyant, but not him. It was really a little special. Chapter 2505. Under such circumstances, he could only choose to give up. Of course, Longao was unwilling to give up because Lin was too important to him. But the current situation was very special. No one knew where Lin had gone. Trying to find Lin in the vast starry sky was like looking for a needle in a haystack. It was almost impossible. Most importantly, if he forced himself to search, The consequences would be unimaginable if he was discovered by the clairvoyant master and the others. Longao, are you ready to give up? He nodded. Longao said helplessly, Xiling, I believe you know the current situation better than I do. I can't move. A single move would affect the whole body. Again, Longao was not worried about himself, but the empire and family behind him. Not only that, Longao also understood that if something belonged to him, it would belong to him no matter what. If it did not belong to him, then no matter how hard he tried, it would not belong to him. Xiling knew that the current situation was very unfavorable for Longao, but he was unwilling to give up so easily. Xiling, I'm going out for a walk. Xiling nodded and turned to go back. Longao was still a little unwilling to leave the soaring dragon plane. He hoped that he would be lucky enough to meet Song Lin. Rumors about the crystal coffin and the white-clothed girl were everywhere in the vast starry sky. The more the rumors spread, the more mysterious they became. So far, no one had been able to locate the white-clothed girl and the mysterious man. Not to mention ordinary starry sky cultivators, even 10 starry sky rulers and 9 half-starry sky rulers could not locate them. No one believed it, but the entire starry sky was in a frenzy because everyone knew very well that if they could find the white-clothed girl, it was very likely that they would surpass the starry sky ruler. Such a temptation was absolutely powerful. Although the white-clothed girl was a starry sky ruler who had mastered the power of chaos, she was now in a state of confusion. Occasionally she would make a move. She searched frantically and searched every nook and cranny. But what was the result? The white-clothed girl and the mysterious man seemed to have evaporated into thin air, completely disappearing from the vast starry sky. You are Longao? Just as he was wandering around to see if his luck was good, a voice suddenly rang out. Looking at the young woman who had suddenly appeared in front of him, Longao seemed quite surprised. He had never thought that a woman would come looking for him. This girl wasn't simple. She was dressed in yellow clothes and had a pretty face. The girl in front of him could only be described with 8 words. She was a beauty that outshone the moon and put the flowers to shame. She was devastatingly beautiful. That's right. And who are you? Longao was very curious. He didn't know the identity of the girl in front of him. The starry sky was immortal. Longao could clearly sense that the girl in front of him was a starry sky immortal realm cultivator, and she looked no more than 25 years old. Such cultivation talent was something even he could only look up to. But you have to know, the reason why he was able to achieve what he had today was not only because of his life and death experiences, but also because of the mysterious power within the Chaos Palace. But what about the young lady before him? If the girl really relied on her talent to reach her current strength, then her talent and strength were too terrifying. You can call me Yunqian. I have 2 questions for you, and I hope you can answer me truthfully. This girl in front of him was quite interesting. She was incomparably arrogant the moment she appeared, as though she was an empress. Longao didn't fall for such tricks. Longao didn't know that the girl in front of him wasn't simple. Since young, no one dared to go against her. Why should I answer you truthfully? Who are you to me? And who am I to you? What a joke. If you don't have anything else, then forgive me for not accompanying you. Goodbye. You dare. Without waiting for Yunqian to finish her words, Longao continued, Goodbye. Yunqian was infuriated. However, for some reason, she suddenly burst out laughing. Laughing? Longao was very curious. He turned around and looked at the girl in front of him. This person was quite interesting. She was incomparably arrogant and furious just a moment ago, but now she was laughing. Longao, I don't have any ill intentions. I just want to ask you 2 things. I'll leave immediately after I get what I want. I won't disturb you. How about it? Longao didn't say anything. It was a tacit agreement. He could clearly sense that the girl in front of him didn't have any murderous intent towards him. Otherwise, he would have attacked earlier. Rather than looking for trouble in the future, he wanted to hear what the girl wanted to ask him. No matter what, he didn't know Yunqian. They hadn't even met before. Smiling, Yunqian said, "The first thing I want to ask is whether you were the one behind the crystal coffin and the girl in white." Hearing Yunqian's words, Longao was surprised. He didn't know anything about Yunqian, but Yunqian seemed to know him very well. If that was the case, he seemed to be in a passive position. "Longao, you don't have to think too much. I don't know you and I believe that you don't know me. I only heard about you from the outside world. I have to admit that you are a legend. According to the legends I heard about you, I guessed that you were the one behind the previous incident." What a smart girl! Longao certainly knew that he and Yunqian didn't know each other. Based on the legends she heard about him, she was able to deduce that he was the one behind the crystal coffin and the girl in white. Therefore, he could almost say that the girl in front of him was definitely not simple. She could be said to be very powerful. Thus, Longao became very vigilant. Seeing that Longao didn't speak, Yunqian smiled and continued, "Longao, you don't have to worry. It seems that my guess was right. But don't worry, if I wanted to leak this matter, I wouldn't have come to you. I'm just curious. I want to see what kind of person the legendary monster Longao is." Would Longao believe her? Longao didn't know why, but he always felt that the girl in front of him wasn't lying. If that was the case, then he really couldn't figure out the girl's thoughts. What did Yunqian mean by doing this? He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. "Miss Yunqian, what do you mean?" "Longao, I just said that I don't mean anything else. I'm just curious. What kind of existence is the person who can disturb the vast starry sky? Besides being a little handsome, you don't seem to be very strong." After hearing Yunqian's words, Longao was speechless to the extreme. He was simply speechless. Seeing that Longao didn't speak again, Yunqian laughed again and said, "Well, the second thing I want to know is, how about I be your confidant?" Chapter 2506. Confidant? Longao certainly knew what it meant to have a confidant. It was precisely because of this. Longao never thought that the girl in front of him, the so-called Yunqian, would say such a thing. Was she out of her mind? "Yunqian, are you out of your mind?" Pfff. Yunqian was not angry at all. Instead, she laughed. Without the slightest care, Yunqian smiled and said, "Longao, looking at the entire vast starry sky, I'm afraid there's no one else who can reach your level at your age." Longao didn't say anything, because he was very clear on one principle, and that was that there was always someone better than you, and there was always someone better than you. I, Yunqian, only have one wish in my life, and that is to marry an unparalleled hero. You meet my requirements. It was the first time he heard such a reason. There were so many unparalleled heroes. Could it be that she could just casually find someone to marry? It was really unheard of. Longao could almost say that the girl in front of him was either out of her mind or had nothing better to do. If he continued to dawdle with the girl, then he would be out of his mind. He turned around and left without the slightest hesitation. But would Yunqian choose to give up so easily? It was definitely impossible. Spatial teleportation? Longao thought that with his speed, he could easily get rid of the girl. But in the end, no matter how he used spatial teleportation, he could not get rid of Yunqian. Even if the other party was a starry sky immortal, Longao had full confidence that his speed could definitely beat a peak starry sky immortal, let alone a starry sky immortal. What was going on? Spatial teleportation? Looking at Yunqian also using spatial teleportation, Longao was completely stunned. In the vast starry sky, there were probably only a few people who could use spatial teleportation. He never thought that Yunqian could actually use spatial teleportation. It was really an incredible thing. If so, it was almost impossible for him to get rid of Yun Qian. Until now, he still did not know who Yun Qian was and why she was following him around like a ghost who had been wronged. He was helpless to the extreme. He stopped abruptly. Looking at the young lady in front of him, Longao smiled bitterly and said helplessly, "Yun Qian, we don't know each other. Why do you have to force me?" He couldn't figure out what was going on. With Yun Qian's appearance, talent, and strength, she could find anyone she wanted. Why did she have to find him? Towards himself, Longao still had self-awareness. It was impossible for something like this to happen just by relying on his charm alone. "Longao, to tell you the truth, I've only heard rumors about you before. I don't know much about you, but after meeting you this time, I realized that I fell in love with you at first sight." It was love at first sight again. Longao was a little dumbfounded. He couldn't figure it out and said, "Yun Qian, my temper isn't very good. You'd better not follow me. Otherwise, don't blame me for being ruthless." Heartless? Yun Qian just smiled. She didn't put Longao's threat in her eyes. Her strength was there for all to see. Longao didn't believe it. Without any warning, he used his finger as a sword and a sword chi instantly shot out. He didn't want to kill Yun Qian at all. Longao could clearly sense that Yun Qian didn't have any killing intent towards him. Space cracks began to appear around them and they were compressing crazily. Under normal circumstances, things that others couldn't do didn't mean that Longao couldn't do it. With Longao's mastery of space, it wasn't difficult for him to kill an immortal realm expert. She wasn't surprised at all because everyone in the vast space knew that Longao could not only break open space cracks, but he could also compress space cracks. However, hearing about it was one thing and seeing it was another. Yun Qian was very clear that even her father couldn't do it. It was hard to imagine what ability Longao used. "Longao, how did you do it?" Without the slightest fear, Longao could sense that Yun Qian in front of him must be very powerful. It seemed that Yun Qian's identity wasn't simple. Could it be that Yun Qian came from one of the 9 great star empires? If she really came from one of the 9 great star empires, then even if he and Yun Qian couldn't be enemies, they definitely couldn't be friends. Not wanting to care about Yun Qian, Longao turned and left. However, the result was the same. Yun Qian didn't choose to give up and followed Longao. Wherever he went, Yun Qian followed like a shadow. Under such circumstances, Longao didn't dare to casually return to the empire. Because until now, he still didn't know Yun Qian's purpose. Whether it was good or bad, he didn't know. It was better to be careful. If the empire's whereabouts were known, then the 9 great star empires wouldn't let it go. With his current strength, it wasn't time to confront the 9 great star empires. "Yun Qian, where did you come from?" Guess your sister." When Longao heard Yun Qian asking him to guess, he was depressed to the extreme. Because how could he guess Yun Qian's identity? Unless the divine mathematician came, maybe he could calculate Yun Qian's true identity. "Longao, you have a grudge against the 9 great star empires. If you marry me, I can ask my family to help you deal with the 9 great star empires. What do you think? Deal with the 9 great star empires?" Yun Qian's words had a hidden meaning. According to her words, wasn't she telling him that the family behind Yun Qian was very powerful? Otherwise, Yun Qian wouldn't be so arrogant. She actually wanted to fight against the 9 great star empires. Thinking about it everywhere, in the vast starry sky, which family could compete with the 9 great star empires? Unless it was one of the 5 major races, but it seemed a bit ridiculous. In addition to the other 5 major races, Longao really couldn't think of any other family in the vast starry sky that could compete with the 9 great starry sky empire. No matter what, among the peak of the human race, the 9 great starry sky empire were invincible. No one dared to provoke them, except for himself. Not to mention the peak starry sky immortal realm existence of the 9 great star empires, just the 9 half-step starry sky dominators were enough to deter the entire starry sky. If that was the case, then could the family behind Yunqian also have a half-step starry sky dominator? 9 great secret realms. Longao certainly didn't believe that there were only 9 great secret realms in the vast starry sky. Miao Ling alone had already devoured the black boulder. If she succeeded in refining it, then Miao Ling would definitely reach the half-step starry sky dominator realm. According to this situation, there must be other half-step starry sky dominators in the vast starry sky. They were just hidden and no one knew about it. If that was the case, then the family behind Yunqian must be extremely powerful. Chapter 2507. The more Yunqian acted this way, the more uncertain Longao felt. Longao, you don't like me? Longao felt extremely helpless as he watched Yunqian continue to pester him. It wasn't a matter of whether he liked her or not. He couldn't possibly fall in love with every woman he met. Women were the most unreasonable people in the world. Trying to reason with a woman was like playing the lute to a cow. Longao didn't run away immediately because Yunqian's speed was simply too fast. She had even mastered space teleportation. Even if he wanted to shake her off, it was almost impossible. Seeing that Longao had stopped running, Yunqian only smiled and didn't say anything. In the distance, a middle-aged man who looked extremely similar to Yunqian was looking calmly at his daughter and Longao in the distance. Behind the middle-aged man were 2 elders, one in black and one in white. They didn't look harmonious at all. Clan leader, could it be that the young lady has taken a liking to this man? The 2 of them were shocked because the young lady's personality and arrogance were obvious to all. In all these years, the young lady had never looked at any man in the face other than her father and the 2 of them. They didn't know why. The young lady was very interested in the legendary Longao and had even declared that she liked Longao very much. It was love at first sight. What was this? The most important thing was that the clan had a clear rule that members of the clan couldn't become partners with outsiders. The 2 of them wanted to see what the clan leader in front of them meant. Everyone in the clan knew that the clan leader doted on his daughter very much. It could be said that the clan leader would try his best to satisfy whatever the young lady wanted. He had never gone against the young lady's wishes. Yunlu smiled calmly and said, "Our clan has been sealed off for so many years. It's time for us to show ourselves." Just as the 2 of them were about to say something, Yunlu waved his hand and said without hesitation, "As long as he has the ability, I'll marry Qian to him. However, if he doesn't have the right, then don't blame me when the time comes." The 2 of them, who were still feeling depressed, were overjoyed when they heard the clan leader's words. If that was the case, it would be impossible for Longao to marry the young lady. "Patriarch, what should we do now? Let Qian play for a while. We still have important things to do." Although they were extremely unwilling in their hearts, the 2 of them did not dare to say anything and could only leave with Yunlu. From beginning to end, Longao had no idea that the 3 of them had appeared. Just when Longao and Yunqian were entangled, the search for the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin in the vast starry sky had reached a fever pitch. After searching for so long, there was still no trace of the white-clothed girl or the crystal coffin. Everyone was worried about one thing. That was the mysterious person who took the girl in white away. He didn't know who that person was. If the mysterious person had also devoured the Chaos Stone Tablet, then by borrowing the white-clothed girl's secret, wouldn't he be able to obtain the chaos energy within the Chaos Stone Tablet? A starry sky ruler without primal chaos power and a starry sky ruler with primal chaos power were 2 completely different concepts. They weren't on the same level. In particular, the 10 starry sky rulers and 9 half-step starry sky rulers were impatient to find the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin. Once the white-clothed girl regained her consciousness, or the mysterious person obtained primal chaos power, the first people they would deal with would be the 10 starry sky rulers, and then the 9 half-step starry sky rulers. Because of this, everyone was going crazy. If it had been something else, the 9 half-step starry sky rulers would not have dared to compete with the 10 starry sky rulers. Only the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin were two completely different concepts. The 9 half-step starry sky rulers had great selfish motive. If the 9 of them could obtain primal chaos power, then perhaps they could use the secret realm to not only become a starry sky ruler, but even surpass the 10 starry sky rulers. But the result? The white-clothed girl and the mysterious person seemed to have vanished from the face of the earth. Even a carpet search would be useless. Tianwu continent, outer sea, crystal palace. Master God Diviner cursed angrily. His calculations had failed again, and he was feeling extremely depressed. Father, you failed again? Seeing his father fail again, Yi Dugu was also very depressed. He had never imagined that even his father would be unable to calculate the white-clothed girl and the mysterious person's location. That wasn't all. His father could not even calculate the location of the mysterious person. Under normal circumstances, the other party was just a small figure in the starry sky. With his father's ability to calculate, how could he not be able to calculate it? Until now, Yi Dugu still couldn't figure out how the mysterious person who had taken the white-clothed girl with him had done it with the strength of a starry sky legend. It was hard to imagine that a mere starry sky legend could leave under the noses of so many super experts. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it. Yi Dugu had clearly sensed that with his strength, he could destroy the mysterious person in a matter of minutes. However, the mysterious person was too strange. Let alone him, even his father was helpless. Dugu, during this period of time, I have divined 35 times, but I have not been able to find out the whereabouts of the two people. I can't even figure out the identity of the mysterious man. The God Diviner was very clear that even if he had mastered the Divine Calculation Tablet's primal chaos power, he wouldn't be able to calculate everything in the world, including people and things. However, he could calculate the identity of the mysterious person who had taken the white-clothed girl away. No matter how he calculated, he couldn't calculate the identity of the mysterious person. Yi Dugu, of course, knew his father's helplessness. He said, "Father, whether you believe it or not, I still feel that the mysterious person who took the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin was no one else but the Longao. Because in the vast universe, other than the Longao, I can't think of a second person who could do this. A starry sky legend fighting against countless experts and forcing his way out in the end." Until now, Yi Dugu still believed in his judgment. He believed that the person who had taken the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin was the Longao he hated the most. But what about the God Diviner? The God Diviner shook his head and said, "Although I can't calculate the identity of the Longao, I can say with certainty that the person who took the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin was not the Longao, but someone else." Yi Dugu was depressed to the extreme. He couldn't understand why his father didn't believe his guess. "Father." Before Yi Dugu could finish, the God Diviner said, "There's no need to worry about this. If it's not the Longao, then it's not the Longao." Chapter 2508. Seeing that his father was a little unhappy, Yi Dugu did not say much. Of course, the divine mathematician did not stop there, because he knew very well that even if he went out now, it would be like looking for a needle in the sea to find traces of the two in the vast starry sky. The only way was to keep calculating and see if he could figure it out. Yi Dugu's current strength had not really reached the starry sky dominator level, but he had reached the limit of the starry sky immortal realm. In other words, Yi Dugu was only one step away from becoming a true starry sky dominator. Even so, Yidugu was full of confidence that he could kill Longao. But could he? Definitely not. If his father was willing, not to mention now, he believed that Longao would have fallen more than 100 years ago. It was just that his father was not willing, so he did not dare to act casually. Yidugu was very clear about his father's means. Even if it was him, once he angered his father, he would not be able to escape. It was very helpless. In Yidugu's view, if he did not kill Longao as soon as possible, it would definitely bring trouble to him and his father in the future. Longao did not return to the empire, nor did he look for trouble with the 9 great starry sky empires. Instead, he wandered around the various plains. As for Yunqian, she still didn't choose to leave and followed Longao. It could be said that wherever Longao went, Yunqian would follow. She was like a lingering spirit. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed quietly. Yunqian followed Longao for several months. Not only did she not show the slightest impatience, but she also became more and more excited. From time to time, she would catch up with Longao and talk about some messy things. His strength was not as good as Yunqian. His speed was not as good as Yunqian. Longao was helpless against this mysterious girl. What should he do? In the end, Longao could not bear it anymore. Just as Yunqian was following him. Miss Yunqian, please tell me, why have you been following me? Love at first sight? She likes me? Admiration for me? Everything was **t. If he chose to believe it, then he would really be out of his mind. Because of this, Longao didn't believe it from the beginning to the end. Yunqian smiled and said, Longao, I've said it before. I, Yunqian, want to marry a demon who is not afraid of anything. You just happen to fit the bill. Moreover, I fell in love with you at first sight. You think I'll believe your bullshit? Believe it or not, I will try my best to fight for my own happiness. Longao was very depressed. After thinking for a while, he said, Why don't you and I get straight to the point? What do you want from me this time? Just tell me. As long as it's something I can do, I'll do it for you. Longao couldn't wait to get rid of Yunqian, but he couldn't do it, so he could only choose to compromise. He had already decided that as long as he could do it, he would never refuse, as long as he could get rid of the woman in front of him as soon as possible. Longao. Before Yunqian could finish speaking, a white figure suddenly appeared. Songlin? Longao was a little dumbfounded when he saw the young lady in white suddenly appear in front of him. He never expected that Songlin, who had disappeared, would suddenly appear at this time. Don't attack. Yunqian naturally knew how terrifying the young lady in white's strength was. If she were to face her head-on, she would definitely die. She didn't continue to stay. Longao, I'll come and find you again. Fortunately, Longao stopped her in time. Otherwise, Songlin's attack alone would have been enough to kill Yunqian. There was no doubt about it. Why did you come back? Looking at the young lady in white, Longao didn't know why, but he had a feeling that Songlin seemed to have come back because of him. Right now, the white-clothed girl's eyes were still empty and her face was blank. However, at this time, Songlin said in an extremely calm voice, For you. For you. With just these 3 words, Longao already knew that his guess was correct. As for why Songlin would come back for him, it was impossible to know. Songlin only said the 3 words for you and didn't speak again. She just stayed by Longao's side and didn't leave his side. Could it be that his charm was that great? Whether it was Yunqian or Songlin, they both seemed to like following him. Of course, Longao didn't think that his charm was that great. He was just curious as to why the 2 of them wanted to follow him. Yunqian's purpose was still unknown, while Songlin was even more mysterious. A starry sky ruler who wasn't clear-headed and didn't know what she was doing, yet she knew to come back and look for him. After Songlin's return, Longao wasn't as carefree as before. He knew very well that the entire vast starry sky was looking for Songlin. If others locked onto him and Song Lin's location, the consequences would be unimaginable. He brought Song Lin back to the Soaring Dragon Empire. As for the matter of the young lady in white, other than Xiling, no one else knew, including Longao and the others. This was because Longao and the others had been in seclusion ever since they devoured the Primal Chaos Tablet. They only hoped to refine the Primal Chaos Tablet as quickly as possible and become a Starry Sky ruler. It was easy to think about it, but refining it was very difficult. It wasn't something that could be done overnight. Ever since Longao and the others had devoured the Primal Chaos Tablet, no one had been able to completely refine the Primal Chaos Tablet and become a Starry Sky ruler. Seeing Longao return with Song Lin, Xiling was a little dumbfounded. She seemed to find it hard to believe. Under such circumstances, Longao was still able to bring the young lady in white back. She didn't know how Longao had done it. Longao, where did you find Song Lin? Xiling asked whatever she wanted to know, because their relationship had reached that level. And Xiling knew that no matter what she asked, Longao wouldn't be angry. Longao smiled. He didn't know what to say, but he still said, Xiling, maybe you don't believe me, but I didn't go looking for Song Lin. I don't know why, but Song Lin came back on her own. Longao didn't mention anything about Yun Qian, because he didn't think he liked Yun Qian. After all, Yun Qian was just a passerby to him. There was no need to mention it. Violet's spirit was very shocked. Of course, she knew that Longao was not fooling her. The girl in white had returned for no reason. As for the reason, even Longao did not know. Even she could not figure out the reason. What was going on? Why would Song Lin return for no reason? Chapter 2509. Longao, how are you going to deal with Song Lin? This was the most troublesome thing. Because Xiling knew very well that if the girl in white continued to follow Longao, no one could guarantee that she wouldn't accidentally reveal his whereabouts. It was better to be safe than sorry. Of course, Xiling knew what it would mean if the girl in white revealed his whereabouts. If that happened, Longao would really be in big trouble. How could Longao not know what Xiling meant? He thought for a while. His expression was very serious because Longao also knew what Xiling was worried about. He couldn't control the girl in white at all, so he couldn't be sure when she would leave and when she would return. If she wanted to leave, no one would be able to stop her. No matter what, the girl in white could defeat the Oracle with one move. There was no doubt about her strength. She could definitely dominate the vast starry sky. This was the most important problem. What should he do? With a helpless expression, Longao said helplessly, Xiling, what do you think we should do now? The sealed plane is of no use to Song Lin. The only thing we can do is to follow her closely. There seemed to be no other way. Longao, according to what you just said, Song Lin wouldn't leave casually. No matter who it was, I believe she would choose to leave in less than 2 hours. I thought of that too. How could Longao not have thought of this? Previously, he thought that Xiling would keep an eye on Song Lin and he could do his own thing. He didn't expect that Song Lin would choose to leave in less than 2 hours according to Xiling. If that was the case, then no matter who Song Lin followed, she wouldn't have stayed for more than 2 hours. As for himself, until now, Longao still couldn't figure out why Song Lin would follow him, not attack him, and even return. He couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. He had no other choice. Longao could only follow the white-clothed girl closely. Normally, the white-clothed girl was like a statue, quietly standing there. No matter where Longao went, the white-clothed girl would follow. Longao even did an experiment. No matter how fast he was, Song Lin was able to follow him closely without even changing the distance between them. It was hard to imagine how powerful Song Lin was. Soaring Dragon Empire. Back Mountain. This mountain peak had already been listed as a forbidden area by Longao. No matter who it was, no one was allowed to take even half a step into it. Those who disobeyed would be killed without mercy. Longao looked at the white-clothed girl in front of him and the crystal coffin beside her. He didn't do anything and just watched quietly. Longao didn't know what Song Lin wanted to do. Song Lin. A crystal coffin. The crystal coffin now emitted a very special light. It was milky white and gave people a very comfortable feeling. Song Lin came to the front of the crystal coffin and gently touched it with her right hand. Although her eyes were still empty, there was a slight expression on her face. However, this expression was very strange. Anyway, Longao couldn't figure out what this expression on Song Lin's face meant. Longao couldn't guess what was in the crystal coffin, nor could he see it. At this moment, suddenly, the white-clothed girl's body trembled violently. Immediately after, her face regained consciousness. She slowly turned around and looked at Longao, who wasn't far away. "Thank you very much for your help. I will repay you in the future." Longao was a little dumbfounded. He didn't know what to say to Song Lin because he knew very well that Song Lin had only regained her consciousness temporarily. As for how long it would last, it was really unknown. It would be a lie to say that the reason why he helped Song Lin wasn't selfish at all. Apart from his own selfishness, it was more because he didn't want the Oracle and the others to capture the white-clothed girl. "Where did you come from?" Taking advantage of Song Lin's consciousness, Longao naturally had to figure out the other party's identity. Just knowing her name was completely nonsense. In any case, Longao knew that the reason why Song Lin became the ruler of the universe and grasped the power of chaos was definitely not because she swallowed the previous 12 chaos tablet. Others might not know, but he knew very well that all 12 chaos tablets in the chaos plane were obtained by him. From this, one could imagine that Song Lin's origin was definitely not simple. Song Lin of course knew what Longao wanted to ask. Her voice was extremely indifferent as she said, "It's best that you don't know about me. It's good for you. Don't worry, you saved me this time. In the future, you will get everything you want." Get everything he wanted? To tell the truth, Longao certainly didn't care because it was better to rely on oneself than on others. Only by relying on oneself would one have the most confidence. However, since Song Lin had already said that, he didn't continue to ask because he knew very well that even if he continued to ask, Song Lin certainly wouldn't say half a word. He clearly knew that it was impossible, so why would he still do that? "Longao, my consciousness will still be intact in a while." Song Lin seemed to be unwilling to mention the latter part. She paused for a moment before continuing, "I will have to trouble you for a while, but in order to let you protect me better, I will temporarily give it to you." If it was someone else, they would definitely agree without hesitation because it was a treasure that even Song Lin valued so much. Just think about it and one could imagine how powerful it was. However, Longao shook his head and said, "My fate is in my own hands. I don't believe anyone can kill me. If you don't believe me, you can choose someone else." Longao was also a little unhappy, but Song Lin didn't get angry at all. Instead, she smiled and said, very good, very good. Perhaps you are the most suitable person. Let's see how good your fortune is." What did Song Lin mean by that? Longao was completely confused, but he didn't think too much about it. Because after Song Lin completely recovered her consciousness, she only had a single request, and that was how to control the chaotic energy within the Chaos Stone tablet. As for Song Lin, it had nothing to do with him at all. Song Lin didn't say anything and neither did Longao. Song Lin stared at the crystal coffin before her while Longao gazed in another direction. No one knew what the two of them were thinking about. Time passed by bit by bit. About an hour later, Song Lin's expression suddenly changed. Her eyes became empty again with a blank expression. What did this mean? At this moment, Song Lin lost her consciousness again. As Song Lin lost her consciousness, the crystal coffin suddenly turned into a white light and directly entered Song Lin's body before disappearing. Chapter 25:10. Longao did not tell anyone about Song Lin's sudden recovery of consciousness, including Xiling. Between him and Song Lin, at most, it could be said that they were using each other, and it could also be said that they were cooperating. Song Lin was no different from before. She followed Longao wherever he went. Because of the white-clothed girl and the crystal coffin, the 9 great starry sky empires had completely ignored Longao. Longao and the white-clothed girl were not on the same level. In the vast starry sky, on a certain plane, "Qian you're too willful." Yun Qian smiled. Since young, she had never been afraid of her father, although everyone was afraid of him. Yun Qian knew very well how much her father loved her. "Father, I really like Longao this time." Yun Qian was not surprised at all. As for what Yun Lu was thinking, no one knew except for himself. "Qian you went to look for Longao just to find the white-clothed girl." Before Yun Lu could finish speaking, Yun Qian continued, "Father, do you believe in love at first sight?" Yun Qian did not need to say more. Yun Lu and the other two had already guessed something. Did Yun Lu really believe in love at first sight? "Qian do you know the rules of the clan?" "I know, but father, you promised Qian that Qian marriage would be decided by Qian herself, and no one else could interfere, including father." The 2 elders behind Yun Lu felt helpless when they heard Yun Qian's words. In the entire clan, only Yun Qian dared to speak to the clan leader like that. If it had been anyone else, they would have been beheaded and dead. Yun Lu helplessly shook his head. He smiled and said, "Although I won't care too much about your marriage, anyone who wants to marry my daughter will have to go through me and my clan. Otherwise, don't even talk about marrying you when the time comes. Even being able to continue living would be a huge problem." Yun Lu did not give Yun Qian any chance to speak. "Elders, after we locked onto her this time, if nothing unexpected happens, the girl in white should still be following Longao." This was not Yun Qian's guess. It was Yun Lu's guess. From this, one could imagine how powerful Yun Lu was. "Clan leader, I still don't understand why the white-clothed girl is following Longao." Not to mention the 2 elders, even Yun Qian couldn't figure it out. Was Longao's charm really that great? As for the white-robed girl's identity, the 4 of them were well aware that she was a super-existence that was superior to the likes of Master Godly Mathematician and the others. "Let's not worry about this for now. Remember, don't alert the enemy. Let's just wait and see." "Wait and see?" The 2 of them looked very depressed. "Patriarch, right now, everyone in the vast starry sky is looking for the white-clothed girl. Once they find out that it was Longao who did this, I'm afraid that someone will beat us to it." How could Yun Lu not understand the intentions of the 2 elders? Longao isn't a simple person. If he could be locked onto so easily, then he wouldn't be him. He was very curious. The 2 of them could not figure out why the Patriarch valued Longao so much. Since the Patriarch didn't say anything, the 2 of them didn't dare to ask. "Qian come back with me first." Yun Qian shook her head. Of course, she didn't want to go back at this time. However, before she could say anything, Yun Lu said, "Qian if you don't come back with me this time, then you won't even have a chance to settle the matter between you and Longao." Yun Qian glared fiercely at her father, but there was nothing she could do. She knew her father's character very well. Although he usually doted on her, he was a man of his word. If he didn't give her a chance, she wouldn't be able to do anything. In the end, Yun Qian had no choice but to return with Yun Lu. Longao didn't know anything about Yun Lu. Until now, Longao still couldn't figure out which force in the vast starry sky, other than the 5 great races, could contend with the 9 great starry sky empires of the human race. In order not to cause trouble for himself, Longao stayed in the empire with the white-clothed girl. Longao was also a little afraid. He didn't know if he would encounter the same thing once he left the Empire with the white-clothed girl. It was better to be safe than sorry. If the white-clothed girl suddenly left halfway and this matter was leaked, he would be in big trouble. It was better to be careful. When Song Lin completely regained her consciousness and he learned how to obtain the chaotic force in the Chaos Stone Tablet, he wouldn't have to be afraid of anything when he left. As for when Song Lin's consciousness would recover, no one knew. It could be a year, 100 years, or even 10,000 years. In the side hall, Longao looked at the white-clothed girl standing beside him. He had been wondering what Song Lin's identity was. Previously, when Song Lin had temporarily regained her consciousness, she had casually said a sentence. He had already guessed that Song Lin was not simple. Longao, I just received news that in order to find Song Lin and the crystal coffin, the 9 great starry sky empires didn't hesitate to go all out. In just 10 days they have suffered heavy losses. As for the 10 rulers of the starry sky, they haven't taken any action. However, according to my guess, the 10 of them won't let this matter rest. Longao wasn't surprised at all because he had already guessed that the 9 great starry sky empires would definitely go all out for the same goal, especially when it came to the chaotic force. There was no doubt that if the 10 rulers of the starry sky chose to give up, it wouldn't be just 10 people. In the vast starry sky, the 10 rulers of the starry sky most likely wanted to find the white-clothed girl. Only then would they have a chance to obtain the chaotic force in the Chaos Stone Tablet. It was still the same sentence. Not having control of the chaotic force and having control of the chaotic force were 2 completely different concepts. As long as the 10 rulers weren't fools, they would definitely understand this. Ziling, I know what you're worried about. But don't worry, before I have full confidence, I won't take Song Lin and leave casually. I know what we mean. With our current strength, it's not time for us to fight them head-on. Not to mention now, even if the Empire already had a ruler of the starry sky overseeing it, there was nothing to worry about. Longao, Xian Tong has been in the Empire all this time. Do you think this person will reveal your whereabouts? A ruler of the starry sky might not come looking for trouble, but that didn't mean that a half-step ruler of the starry sky wouldn't. If the 9 great starry sky empires knew that Longao and the Empire were here, Ziling was almost certain that the 9 great starry sky empires would definitely come to deal with Longao and the Empire. This was what Ziling was most worried about. Chapter 25:11. Until now, Ziling was almost certain that even if Xian Tong was not an enemy, he was definitely not a friend. How could Longao not know what Ziling meant? In fact, Longao was also a little worried about Xian Tong. No matter what, Xian Tong had turned against him before. Whether Xian Tong would betray him, even he did not know. Seeing that Longao did not speak, Ziling already knew that Longao was not completely confident. Longao, you'd better make a decision as soon as possible. Otherwise, you won't even have a chance to prepare. After saying this, Ziling did not continue speaking. Instead, he turned and left. Longao was the only one left in the side hall. He sat there quietly. Regarding Purple Spirit's worry, Longao had indeed taken it to heart. If Xian Tong was not handled well, it would indeed be troublesome. It was a little unrealistic to deal with Xian Tong, because at this moment, Longao still did not know if Xian Tong would betray him. If Xian Tong did not intend to betray him, then he would have made an unnecessary move. It was not worth it to have another enemy for no reason. What should he do? There seemed to be only one way now. That was to bring the entire empire to another location. This time, the relocation had to be even more secretive than before. No outsiders could know about it. He had to do it. He could not let any accidents happen. With the current strength of the empire, it was not yet time to go against the 9 great starry sky empires. Not to mention 1 against 9, even in a one-on-one situation, his empire was not a match for the other party. There was only one result if he went head-to-head. It would be very disadvantageous for him and the empire. Longao moved very quickly. In order to conceal himself, he used the Chaos Palace this time. Moreover, he had to bring Songlin with him at all times. This way, the probability of her being exposed was very high. Longao calculated that to move the entire empire, he would need dozens of transfers. During this period, as long as someone discovered Songlin's whereabouts, things would be very troublesome. However, Longao's luck was really good. He moved the entire empire without leaving a single trace. It was still a low-leveled plane. Longao found an extremely secretive place in the low-leveled plain and built an underground palace. With the current strength of the soaring dragon empire, building an underground palace was as easy as flipping one's hand. Until this moment, Longao could finally heave a sigh of relief. But it was not a solution for Songlin to keep following him. He could not go anywhere? Longao was very depressed in his heart. He tried all kinds of methods, but he was unable to keep Songlin. No matter who he handed it to, as long as he left, there was no doubt that Songlin would disappear and appear by his side. What attribute did the primal chaos stone tablet that Songlin devoured belong to? The primal chaos stone tablets, apart from being divided into levels, were also divided into various attributes. For example, the 5 elements primal chaos stone tablet, devour primal chaos stone tablet, lightning primal chaos stone tablet, space primal chaos stone tablet, time primal chaos stone tablet, destruction primal chaos stone tablet, reincarnation primal chaos stone tablet, slaughter primal chaos stone tablet, divine divination primal chaos stone tablet, sword intent primal chaos stone tablet, indestructible tyrant body primal chaos stone tablet, darkness primal chaos stone tablet, ice and fire chaos stone tablet, sky demon chaos stone tablet, black dragon chaos stone tablet, life chaos stone tablet, power chaos stone tablet, wind and cloud chaos stone tablet, spirit chaos stone tablet, light chaos stone tablet, mad blade chaos stone tablet, divine spear chaos stone tablet. He did not know what kind of chaos stone tablet Songlin belonged to. 3 years. In the blink of an eye. She left? Seeing Songlin suddenly leave, Longao was very surprised because in these 3 years, Songlin could be said to have never left his side. Suddenly leaving, she seemed to be a little unaccustomed. However, Longao was very clear that this kind of thing could not be forced. If Songlin was willing to stay, it would be impossible for him to chase her away. If Songlin was not willing to stay, then even if he wanted to, he would not be able to do it. After 3 years of being together, Longao seemed to have gotten used to having Songlin by his side. If it was Songlin who had regained her consciousness, Longao naturally wouldn't have the slightest bit of worry. No matter what, Songlin's strength was there for all to see. Even the oracle wasn't Songlin's match, let alone others. But now, the situation was completely different. At this moment, Songlin had not recovered her consciousness and would only occasionally attack. What if she did not attack? Not to mention the divine mathematician and other starry sky rulers, even an ordinary starry sky cultivator would be able to easily deal with Songlin. Letting out a deep sigh. Since things had come to this, there was no point in worrying. Since there was nothing he could do to change it, there was no need to continue thinking. After Songlin left, Longao did not continue to stay because there were many things he needed to do. It was just that with Songlin following him, he could not do anything. Third Starry Sky Empire. Longao had just stepped into the third plane when he met Gongsun He. As the old ancestor of the Third Starry Sky Empire, there was no need to mention Gongsun He's strength. As one of the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers, Gongsun He was invincible except for the 12 Starry Sky rulers. The strength of the 9 half-step Starry Sky rulers was almost the same. Longao did not dare to compliment Gongsun He's character. If Gongsun He had helped him when he went to the Third Starry Sky Empire, then he would have treated Gongsun He as one of his own and a friend like Miao Ling. But now, that was not very likely. Even if they were not enemies, they were definitely not friends. Brother Long, Gongsun He, you and I are no longer friends. Why do you have to be like this? Are you not afraid that I will implicate you? Although Longao was unhappy, he did not resent Gongsun He because no matter who it was, they would have made the same choice as Gongsun He. With Long Ming's status and strength, the deterrence of a Starry Sky ruler was not something to be trifled with. Gongsun He felt a little helpless. If he had known that Long Ming had not recovered his strength, he would not have had to be afraid of anything. He might have been able to kill Long Ming and devour the Chaos Stone Tablet on Long Ming. It was really a mistake. Brother Long, what happened before was my fault. I hope you can give me a chance. How about it? As a half-step Starry Sky ruler, it was impossible for him to say such words. However, Gongsun He did it. If it were anyone else, they would have become friends with Gongsun He. But would Longao agree? Longao smiled and said, Gongsun He, you can rest assured. Even if we are not friends, we will not be enemies. I did not come to the third plane with any other intentions. Chapter 25:12. He seemed to want to say more, but in the end, he held himself back. What else could he say? The meaning behind Longao's words was very clear. They were neither friends nor enemies. Longao couldn't be blamed for this. When Longao had been hunted down by Bai Jing and the others, at the moment of life and death, he, as Longao's friend, hadn't helped. Instead, he had chosen to stand by and watch. If he were in Longao's shoes, he probably would have done the same. He didn't ask, because Gongsun He knew very well that now that Longao had stepped into the third plane, he definitely wouldn't attack the Empire. The Third Cosmic Empire. Within a grand hall. Ancestor, there's something I don't understand. I don't know if I should say it. As the Emperor of the Third Cosmic Empire, Gongsun Ao was probably the only person in the Empire who dared speak to Gongsun He in such a manner. Ancestor, although Longao is a genius and has developed rapidly in recent years, he hasn't reached the point of reversing the universe. Gongsun He didn't speak. He just listened quietly. Ancestor, I can understand why you think so highly of him. But now, Longao is clearly doing this on purpose, yet you're still doing this. Isn't that a bit too much? Gongsun Ao couldn't figure out why the ancestor thought so highly of Longao. Longao was a ruler of the universe? Definitely not. Gongsun He said helplessly, my intuition tells me that Longao is definitely not simple. Perhaps he can change the structure of the universe. We miscalculated before. What a pity, what a pity. First, it was a pity that they hadn't established a good relationship with Longao. Second, it was a pity that they hadn't succeeded in killing Long Ming and devouring the Chaos Steel. Now it was too late to regret. He was a bit shocked. Gongsun Ao didn't believe the ancestor, because he felt it was a bit ridiculous. Could Longao change the structure of the universe by himself? If there were 12 rulers of the universe, then there wouldn't be any problem. Apart from them, even 9 half-rulers might not be able to accomplish this. How could Gongsun He not know what Gongsun Ao was thinking? He didn't explain. This time, Longao did not step into the third positional plane to deal with the Third Starry Sky Empire. Even if he and Gongsun He were not friends, they were definitely not enemies. The reason why he stepped into the third realm was because of Yun Qian's words. Longao's intuition told him that Yun Qian had absolutely no malice towards him. Previously, when Yun Qian followed Longao, she once said that the Third Starry Sky Empire, one of the 9 great Starry Sky Empires, had a secret that very few people knew about. The secret was that there was a hidden cave abode in the third plane, and there was a treasure hidden in the cave abode. Yun Qian did not say what this treasure was. However, Yun Qian said that this treasure would bring indescribable benefits to her and the empire. Longao shook his head helplessly. He didn't know what was wrong with him. Yun Qian's words made him come. Since he was already here, he might as well take things as they came. According to the location given by Yun Qian, Longao quickly found the so-called mysterious Immortal's Cave. There was no one around, only the whistling of the wind could be heard. Longao passed through the passage and smoothly entered the cave abode. On the huge stone door there were two strange patterns engraved. He tried to push the stone door. Originally, he thought that it would not be easy for him to enter the cave. However, Longao did not expect that the stone door would be opened just like that when he tried to push it. Wasn't it a bit too simple? Since things had come to this point, Longao did not choose to give up. Instead, he stepped into the cave abode. Puchi. As soon as Longao stepped into the cave abode, he heard laughter. He was very curious as to why there was laughter coming from the cave abode. Was there someone in the cave abode? At a glance, there was no one in the huge cave abode. Longao certainly did not think that there was something wrong with his ears. However, there was indeed no one in the cave. He could not even sense the aura. Could it be that he heard wrong? Impossible, absolutely impossible. Who is it? Sneaky. We have only been away for less than 3 years and you don't recognize me? Yun Qian? Longao was simply too familiar with Yun Qian's voice. In an instant, he had already figured out what was going on. If there was no accident, the cave abode must be Yun Qian's plan. As for the purpose, it was still unknown. At this moment, a beautiful figure appeared out of thin air. Looking at Longao in front of her, she said with a smile, Longao, we haven't seen each other for 3 years. Did you miss me? Longao was not afraid of fighting with experts, but he was afraid of this. He always felt that Yun Qian had another purpose for him. Could it be because of Tsang Lin? Yun Qian, if I'm not mistaken, the reason why you've been trying to get close to me again and again is because of the white-clothed girl who appeared before. I'll be honest with you. What happened before was indeed my doing. However, I didn't manage to keep the white-clothed girl. She has already left. At this point, Longao did not continue to speak. However, the meaning of his words was very clear. As for why Longao admitted it, the reason was actually very simple. Anyway, Yun Qian must be 100% sure that this matter was done by him. If that was the case, why should he continue to hide it? Anyway, the white-robed girl was no longer following him. As for how Yun Qian knew about this matter, Longao did not ask. Because he knew that if Yun Qian wanted to say it, then there was no need for him to ask. He believed that Yun Qian would say it. If Yun Qian did not want to say it, then no matter how he asked, Yun Qian would not say it. In that case, why should he waste his time? I believe you. Since you have said so, I will also tell you a few words of truth. The reason why I came to you before was indeed because of the white-robed girl. As for what the white-robed girl means, I believe there is no need for me to say more. You should know better than me. Of course, Longao knew what the white-robed girl meant, but he did not say anything. He just listened quietly. He also wanted to hear what Yun Qian was going to say next. Yun Qian did not care and said, "But since I saw you for the first time, I did fall in love with you at first sight, whether you believe it or not." Longao certainly did not believe it, but he still did not say anything. Longao, now you want to ask, what do you feel about me? What do you mean, what do you feel about me? Longao asked even though he already knew the answer. Of course, he knew what Yun Qian meant. Yun Qian did not have the slightest anger. She smiled and said, Longao, I am asking you, do you like me? No. Without the slightest hesitation, Longao really did not like Yun Qian in his heart. because in the vast starry sky, there were too many beautiful women. If this was the case, then the woman he liked was too big. Chapter 25:13. When she heard Longao's answer, Yun Qian's expression changed. It was fleeting. Longao, of course, noticed the fleeting expression on Yun Qian's face and was very surprised. Could it be that what Yun Qian said was true? It seemed a little ridiculous. Even now, he still couldn't believe that Yun Qian had really fallen in love with him at first sight. "Miss Yun Qian, why did you trick me into coming here?" Yun Qian smiled. "It doesn't matter if you don't like it. You just have to remember that I like you. In the future, I will make you slowly fall in love with me, until death do us part." There was no answer. Longao didn't know how to answer. She didn't seem to continue to dwell on this issue. Yun Qian looked around the cave and said, "Longao, do you know why I asked you to come here?" He shook his head. How could he know? He was also very curious as to why Yun Qian would trick him into coming here for no reason. This cave was left behind by a starry sky ruler. A starry sky ruler? Longao certainly knew what a starry sky ruler meant. He looked around the cave and never imagined that this cave was left behind by a starry sky ruler. However, even if it was left behind by a starry sky ruler, it didn't seem to be of much use. A starry sky ruler was very powerful, but it didn't mean that the things left behind by a starry sky ruler were necessarily powerful. Seeing that Longao didn't speak, Yun Qian could already guess what Longao was thinking. The owner of this cave is called Sage Feng Lei. Countless years ago, he also dominated the universe and was one of the strongest starry sky rulers. Countless years ago? Longao was very curious. He knew that countless years ago, Master God Diviner and the others had acquired the primal chaos stone steels and become the starry sky sovereign. If there were other starry sky sovereigns, how could Master God Diviner and the others not know about them? Even if Master Godly Mathematician didn't tell him, would Xiling hide it from him? Yun Qian, what's going on? Yun Qian certainly knew what Longao was asking. I'm afraid even Master Godly Mathematician and the others don't know about this. Yun Qian smiled and said, in the vast universe, there was an era called the Primal Chaos Era. In that era, there were many rulers of the universe, and there were many who controlled the primal chaos stones. Longao didn't say anything because he knew that the secret Yun Qian was talking about was probably the biggest secret in the vast universe. As for Master God Diviner and the others, that was a matter of countless years ago. Back then, virtually all of the rulers of the starry sky had perished. So that was the case. Longao suppressed the shock in his heart and appeared very calm. Longao, in fact, there is a great secret in the vast universe, but I can't tell you. This is the secret of our race. Once you become my husband, I will tell you. Longao did not answer. What's up with the Primal Chaos Stone Tablets? The matter of the Primal Chaos Tablets is also a secret. It was another secret. Longao's intuition told him that the Primal Chaos Tablets weren't as simple as they seemed. Where did they come from? How many Primal Chaos Tablets were there? Everything was a mystery. Even the 12 rulers of the stars, including Master God Diviner, didn't know what the Chaos Stone Tablets were, let alone anyone else. If what Yun Qian said was true, and it spread to the vast starry sky, the entire starry sky would be shaken. Yun Qian, since you know so much, is there anyone in your race who can devour primal chaos tablets? Even now, Longao still didn't know the origins of Yun Qian's race. However, there was no doubt that her race was not simple. Otherwise, she wouldn't know so much and have boasted that she could fight 9 of the universe empires alone. Yun Qian shook her head again. Her meaning was clear. Since this was the case, Longao didn't ask any more questions. He knew that even if he asked, Yun Qian wouldn't answer him. Yun Qian, get to the point. Why did you ask me to come here this time? Longao still couldn't figure it out. Even if this cave was left behind by the ruler of the universe, it didn't seem to have anything to do with him. Venerable Feng Lei has fallen and the primal chaos tablets are missing. However, the primal chaos power left behind by Venerable Feng Lei has gathered in this cave. Longao didn't speak. He found a place to sit down. Yun Qian also sat down. According to the information I received, Venerable Feng Lei was not only a powerful ruler of the universe, but also a powerful array master. He used arrays to trap the primal chaos power he left behind. Yun Qian's words had already reached this point. If Longao still didn't understand, then he was really a fool. Arrays. Longao was almost certain that Venerable Feng Lei was a powerful array master. If that was the case, even if he was an array master, it would be difficult for him to break the array and obtain the primal chaos power. Longao was very clear about Yun Qian's meaning. What did Yun Qian mean? Longao knew very well what Venerable Feng Lei and the primal chaos power meant. If it were anyone else, they would definitely take it for themselves. How could they take it out so casually? Longao, I know what you're thinking. I've already said that I fell in love with you at first sight. This cave dwelling is my gift to you. Later on, I'll help you break the formation and obtain the primal chaos energy within the cave dwelling. This way, it'll be beneficial for you to devour the primal chaos stone tablet. Huh? Devour the primal chaos tablets? Did Yun Qian mean that she already knew that he had devoured the primal chaos tablets? If that was the case, Longao couldn't figure it out. He really didn't know how Yun Qian knew that he had obtained the primal chaos tablet. Yun Qian, what do you mean? I don't understand. Yun Qian smiled and said, 200 years ago, the vast starry sky descended into the primal chaos plane. There were 12 primal chaos tablets. If I'm not wrong, the 12 primal chaos tablets shouldn't be scattered everywhere. Instead, you obtain them all. Am I right? Longao was a little dumbfounded. He could almost assert that since Yun Qian had already said so, he believed that she must be confident. Besides his own family, no one knew about this matter, including the divine mathematician and others. How could his family have leaked this? It was complete nonsense. In any case, he absolutely didn't believe it. Since it wasn't his family who leaked this, then this matter was done in such a secretive manner. Longao couldn't figure out how Yun Qian knew. Could it be that Yun Qian was like the oracle and could calculate anything? This was a little unlikely. How did Yun Qian know about this? Chapter 25:14. Longao, if you don't speak, it means that you admit it. Longao did not admit it, nor did he deny it. Don't worry, if I want to leak this matter, I won't tell you. Longao was very clear about this point. If Yun Qian wanted to harm him, then there was no need to talk nonsense with him. As long as it spread out, people would definitely believe it. Yun Qian, what do you mean? My meaning is very simple. I hope you can get the power of chaos and use it to refine the chaos tablet and get the power of chaos in the tablet. In this way, you can become the supreme expert of the vast starry sky. Was Yun Qian really so kind? Longao still didn't quite believe it. Did Yun Qian have another purpose? He couldn't figure it out. Well, let's think of a way to break the array. He nodded. Although he still didn't quite believe Yun Qian's purpose, what else could he say since Yun Qian was already like this? He couldn't measure the heart of a gentleman with the yardstick of a villain. As a starry sky immortal array master, Longao's array skills had almost reached the peak. He was only one step away from the ultimate starry sky immortal array master. He calmed down and began to sense. A few hours later, Longao let out a deep sigh and helplessly looked at the cave residents around him. What's wrong? Yun Qian certainly knew that Longao was an array master, Because Longao was an array master, it was no secret in the vast starry sky. With my array skills, I can't break the array of this cave mansion. Longao could almost be sure that even an ultimate starry sky immortal array master couldn't break the array set up by Taoist Fenglai, let alone himself. There was no doubt about it. Taoist Fenglai's array skills were absolutely terrifying. Without the slightest surprise, Yun Qian had already guessed that it would be strange if Longao could easily break the array set up by Taoist Fenglai. Longao, since Taoist Fenglai left behind the power of chaos, according to my guess, if there is no accident, Taoist Fenglai wants to find an inheritor for himself. He nodded in agreement. Longao agreed with Yun Qian's guess. If Taoist Master Fenglai didn't want to find an inheritor for himself, he didn't need to set up a formation to trap the power of chaos. Unless he had nothing better to do. What should he do? If he couldn't break the formation left behind by Venerable Windthunder, then it would be impossible for him to obtain the primal chaos force. In that case, it would be useless for him to stay here. Just as Longao was about to say that he was going to leave, Longao, I have a way to break the formation, but according to my father, it will be very dangerous. Are you willing to give it a try? Yun Qian's father was definitely not simple. After all, to be able to turn Yun Qian into a starry sky immortal in such a short time, in addition to Yun Qian's own extraordinary talent, the power behind Yun Qian must have played an indelible role. What kind of danger will there be? I don't know. Choose to try? Or choose to give up? Yun Qian didn't continue to say anything, but stared at Longao, as if waiting for him to make a decision. Without any hesitation, Longao said with a smile, I, Longao, have experienced countless life and death situations and encountered countless dangers over the years, so I have taken a step back. This time is no exception. I choose to give it a try, but you don't have to stay and take risks with me. It's better for you to leave first. Hearing this, Yun Qian breathed a sigh of relief. Although she was also very afraid of danger, she still hoped that Longao could choose to give it a try, because the person she liked should not be a coward, but a person who moved forward bravely. Yun Qian said firmly, I won't leave. These 5 simple words were said with exceptional firmness. Longao couldn't figure it out. Yun Qian and he just met by chance. Why was she willing to take the risk with him? Yun Qian, what should I do to break the formation? If it was anything else, it would be fine, but primal chaos force was something Longao couldn't resist. This was because Longao knew very well that if he could obtain primal chaos force, then not only him, but even his family members who had obtained the primal chaos stone tablet would be able to use primal chaos force and control the primal chaos force within the primal chaos stone tablet. In fact, even now, Longao was not sure if he and his family would be able to use primal chaos force to control the primal chaos stone tablet. Whether or not they succeeded, they had to try first. Yun Qian's method was actually very simple. She took out a treasure from her bosom and directly released it. In just a few short seconds, the formation in the dwelling had been triggered. Before the two of them could even react, rumbling sounds had already resounded throughout the dwelling. Let's go. As a formation master, Longao naturally knew what was going on. The formation had been triggered. It turned out that there was a formation within a formation. Yun Qian had only used a treasure to trigger the formation. It was basically impossible for the two of them to completely break through the formation. If they didn't leave now, they probably wouldn't be able to leave later. Let's go together. Originally, Yun Qian had a chance to leave because Longao was blocking outside. But in the end, Yun Qian didn't even have the slightest intention of leaving. This time, Longao was completely enraged. He said furiously, "Hurry up and leave. Do you want to die here too?" Yun Qian was naturally afraid of death, but it also depended on the situation. Just based on the current situation, Yun Qian really did like Longao. Otherwise, she wouldn't have stayed in such a life and death situation. Longao had actually already thought of this point. He was very surprised. Of course, he didn't believe in love at first sight, but he definitely couldn't accept this feeling. The situation was critical. Seeing that Yunqian wasn't leaving, Longao had no choice but to pull Yunqian to his side. "You're still smiling?" Seeing that Yunqian wasn't nervous at all and was instead smiling at him, Longao was very depressed. He didn't know if Yunqian's brain was flooded with water. "Longao, do you know? Since I was young, there have been too many men who liked me, but I didn't like any of them. This time, I came to find you mainly because of the white-clothed girl. But I didn't expect that I would first hear about your legend, then see you in person. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I fell in love with you at first sight. I like you so much. Do you believe in love at first sight?" Longao didn't speak. His hands moved together, resisting the attacks of the formation with all his strength. Yunqian wasn't angry. Instead, she said with a smile, "Longao, if we can leave here alive this time, can you consider accepting me? Let's leave first." Longao was completely defeated by Yunqian. What kind of situation was this? She was still in the mood to talk about this. Chapter 25:15. It was depressing. Longao did not know what was going on in Yunqian's mind. What sort of situation was this? At this moment of life and death, the slightest bit of carelessness would cause them to fall into a state of eternal damnation. Yunqian did not say anything more. The entire formation had not been activated yet. Otherwise, the power of the attack would have increased by tens of times. If that were to happen, whether or not the both of them would be able to defend against it was still an unknown. But even so, both of them knew the severity of the situation. The longer they dragged it out, the more disadvantageous it would be for them. "Longao, what should we do now?" "Advance as a form of retreat." Longao did not like to retreat. He would always take the initiative to strike. Pulling Yunqian along, the chaos axe in Longao's right hand slammed down towards the center of the cave. Boom! 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 One after another, it smashed down continuously, and the entire cave began to tremble violently. Of course, Yunqian wanted to help Longao as well. However, she was extremely shocked. Even though she had heard many legends about Longao, this was the first time she was witnessing the true strength of Longao. Was this the strength that a legend should have? In fact, Yunqian had a feeling that if the current Longao were to fight to the death, even a pinnacle starry sky immortal being would not be a match for Longao. After a few hundred consecutive slashes of the axe, cracks began to appear in the cave. Not only did they not break through the formation, they even activated it. Both of them were completely stunned. At this moment, it could be said that it was a moment of life and death. Longao was very calm because he knew very well that the more it was at this moment, the more he had to be calm. Otherwise, forget about obtaining the chaotic energy, the two of them might even die here. Chaos 9 axes, first axe, Hell Devour. Initially, Longao did not want to use the Chaos 9 axes so casually. But now that the situation was so dire, if he did not settle this quickly, both of them would be in deep trouble. After Hell Devour, the formation of the entire cave disappeared. Broken? Towards this outcome, Longao was not surprised in the slightest. This was because Longao had already guessed that Venerable Fenglei had left behind the chaotic power because he wanted to find his successor. Otherwise, why would he go through so much trouble? From this, it could be deduced that the formation set up by Venerable Fenglei was only a picture of order, and it was not as powerful as it seemed on the surface. The cave abode had been completely refurbished. The size of the cave had not changed in the slightest. However, there was an indescribable feeling in the cave. What about primal chaos? Yunqian was very curious. The array formation had been broken, but there was no primal chaos energy. In fact, Yun Qian was not completely confident that the primal chaos force existed in the cave abode. This cave was discovered by his father many years ago, but he was unable to break the formation. He did not want others to know about it, so he gave it to Yun Qian. You could say that, in the entire vast starry sky, perhaps only Yun Lu and Yun Qian knew about this place. If Yun Lu knew about this, who knew what Yun Lu would think? His own daughter actually gave the cave to Longao. It would be fine if it was something else, but the primal chaos force was no small matter. It was something that everyone dreamed of, including the 12 rulers of the starry sky. As the saying went, love could conquer everything. Longao was also very curious. Logically speaking, since the array formation had been broken, the primal chaos force should have appeared. However, the entire cave abode was empty. There was not even a trace of the primal chaos force. Yun Qian, I have something to tell you. As for the primal chaos force, let's look for it later. What do you think? I have no problem with that. The two found a place to sit down. Longao, what do you want to talk to me about? Looking at Longao's serious face, Yun Qian also put away her usual mischievous and playful smile, and became serious as well. Yun Qian did not know what Longao wanted to talk to her about. Yun Qian, no matter what, you and I have just experienced life and death. Even if we are not friends, we are definitely not enemies. I just want to ask you one thing. Why do you keep staring at me? Until now, Longao still did not believe that Yun Qian had fallen in love with him at first sight. He could not feel at ease if he did not understand this question. Was she a friend or a foe? Yun Qian seemed to be particularly serious this time. She said, I can make a blood oath. No need. It was too late. Before Longao could react, Yun Qian had already begun to swear the blood oath. Just as Yun Qian had said before, she had gone to look for Longao because of the white-clothed girl and the various secrets on Longao's body, as well as various kinds of curiosity. However, after seeing Longao, the situation was completely different. Love at first sight was something that no one could explain. Sometimes, when feelings came, they could not be stopped. Yun Qian had already made a blood oath. Things had already come to this. If he still did not believe it, then he would be a little too shameless. However, even if he believed it, what could he do? It was almost impossible between him and Yun Qian. He said helplessly, Yun Qian, we do not know each other. Thank you for your favor. To be honest, it is impossible between us. After leaving here, you go your way and I go mine. How about it? He shook his head. Yun Qian said seriously, Longao, I have already said this before. It is my business that I like you. It is your business that you don't like me. I will make you like me. As for going our own ways, that is impossible. Although he didn't know much about Yun Qian's character, after these few dealings, Longao knew in his heart that Yun Qian didn't seem to change her mind. If that was the case, then wouldn't Yun Qian keep troubling him? Longao, why don't you try to accept me? Let's look for the primal chaos force. Longao was really scared. He immediately stood up and began to look for the primal chaos force again. At a glance, he could see the surroundings of the cave at a glance. Moreover, he could not sense the aura of the primal chaos force. If that was the case, wouldn't it be a waste of time? He almost lost his life just now. What was going on? Longao, why don't you and I join hands? What do you mean? Longao was very clear about his and Yun Qian's strength. Even if they joined hands, they might not be able to sense the primal chaos force in the cave. Moreover, Longao was a little doubtful whether the primal chaos force existed in this cave. Moreover, even Yun Qian was not completely sure. Longao, I have a cultivation technique. If we can practice it together, not only can we improve our strength rapidly, we can even reproduce some supernatural powers. Practice together? Without even thinking about it, Longao rejected. Yun Qian, I appreciate your good intentions, but the matter of us cultivating together, I think it's better to forget about it. Chapter 25:16. If he were to train with Yun Qian, he would definitely be entangled with her in the future. Longao, we don't have any other ideas other than this. Really? Longao did not believe her at all. He did not say anything more and started to sense it again. In the blink of an eye, 3 months passed by. Longao was still unable to sense the power of chaos. If he were to give up just like that, he would not be satisfied. Longao, you should know the situation now. The longer we delay, the worse it will be for us. How could Longao not know what Yun Qian was worried about? This was the third plane after all. If Gongsun he were to find out, even if he was not afraid of Gongsun he would still be in trouble. All right. Hearing that Longao had finally agreed, Yun Qian's heart was filled with joy. Longao, this skill is a secret of our race. We must not let outsiders know about it. This skill does not have a name. It was obtained by our ancestor by accident. Nodding his head, Longao did not say anything. He did not know what to say at this moment. It was still the same sentence. If it was anything else, he definitely wouldn't agree. However, chaotic force was just too important to him. If he could successfully obtain chaotic force, then not only himself, but even his family might be able to borrow chaotic force to refine the chaotic stone tablet. Thinking about it, he was still unwilling to give up. There was only one way to not give up. That was to follow Yun Qian's instructions and cultivate this mysterious skill together. Try sensing it. Not long after, Longao sensed a cultivation method from the information that Yun Qian sent over. Even if he had not cultivated it yet, he could sense the strength of this cultivation method. If he used it alone, it would be useless. If the two of them were to work together, it would be a completely different concept. If he wanted to cultivate, he would cultivate. In order to sense the power of chaos earlier, Longao and Yun Qian started cultivating immediately. Because of this, the two of them could not help but feel a little it was strange. The race behind Yun Qian, Yun Lu, had used many people to cultivate this skill. However, they had never succeeded. For hundreds of thousands of years, there had never been a man or woman who succeeded. But now? Longao and Yun Qian had only cultivated for less than 6 hours, and the two of them had already succeeded. Whether it was Yun Qian or Longao, their cultivation did not improve. He stood in place. However, the two of them were extremely confident. If the two of them were to join forces and use this cultivation technique, then their strength would definitely double. What kind of concept was that? In other words, if the two joined forces, their power was enough to kill a peak starry sky undying, which was enough to shake the entire universe. He didn't know if anyone had successfully cultivated this cultivation method before. In any case, in the vast starry sky, there were probably only 2 people who had successfully cultivated it. Let's try and see if we can sense it. He nodded. The two of them released their auras at the same time. The 2 auras were like 2 dragons, fiercely entangling each other. I sensed it. Having successfully sensed it, the 2 of them lit up in delight. After successfully finding a breakthrough, the 2 of them found what they were looking for. It turned out that the power of chaos was inside the grotto mansion. Only, it was enveloped by a layer of energy. If it were not for the fact that they were cultivating this mysterious cultivation technique, they would not have been able to find it. The cave changed again. It was still the same cave, but the things inside were different. Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Looking at the black stone tablet before them, the 2 of them spoke in unison. That's right. The stone tablet floating before them was the strongest starry sky god tool in the vast starry sky. It was also the primal chaos stone tablet that everyone dreamed of obtaining. This cave was left behind by Thunderwind Master. Hence, without a doubt, The Primal Chaos Stone Tablet before them was the Thunder Wind Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Of the 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets he obtained before, there seemed to be a Lightning Primal Chaos Stone Tablet and a Wind and Cloud Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. This Wind and Thunder Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was a completely new type of Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Seems like I guessed correctly. Back then, Thunder Wind Master not only left behind Primal Chaos Energy, he even left behind the Thunder Wind Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. Yunqian, this belongs to you in the first place. Go and devour the Chaos Steel of Wind and Lightning. I believe that if nothing unexpected happens, you will successfully control the Chaos Force within the Chaos Steel and become a supreme existence above the Starry Sky ruler. This is yours. I don't want it. Hearing Yunqian's words, Longao was somewhat moved, because he knew what the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet meant. Yunqian also knew. If it were anyone else, not to mention not wanting it, they would have already taken it. For the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, they would even risk their lives. With the current situation and the blood oath from before, Longao didn't have the slightest bit of doubt. It seemed that Yunqian really did fall in love with him at first sight. The more this was the case, the more he couldn't take a wrong step. Because Longao didn't want to harm Yunqian. Yunqian, listen to me first. If you really want what's best for me, then devour the Thunder Wind Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. If you don't want to, then from now on we can't even be friends. Before Yunqian could speak, Longao continued, I, Longao, am a man of my word. If you don't believe me, you can try. Yunqian's expression changed again because she didn't think that after seeing the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, Longao wouldn't take it himself. Instead, he wanted her to devour it. As for the matter of Longao obtaining 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets, she only guessed. She didn't know. In fact, Yunqian didn't believe that Longao could obtain 12 Primal Chaos Stone Tablets at the same time. If he could obtain even one Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, it would be a great fortune amidst misfortune. Helpless, Yunqian didn't continue to refuse because she was really afraid that Longao would ignore her in the future. If that was really the case, she wouldn't even have any hope left. Arriving before the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, Yunqian directly began to devour it. Fortunately, she didn't encounter any obstruction. In a short while, she had successfully devoured the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet. You obtained Sage Wind Thunder's inheritance? Longao was very clear in his heart that this Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was different from the previous ones. This was left behind by Venerable Zephyr Thunder. If there was no accident, when Yunqian devoured the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, she must have obtained Venerable Zephyr Thunder's inheritance, including cultivation methods, martial skills, etc. Nodding, Yunqian smiled and said, just as you guessed, from now on, I am Sage Wind Thunder's inheritor. Refining this Primal Chaos Stone Tablet will be easier for me than others. If nothing unexpected happens, when I refine the Primal Chaos Stone Tablet, I might be able to obtain the Primal Chaos energy within it. Hearing this, Longao was overjoyed. He was truly happy for Yunqian. Chapter 25:17. Longao, I have a new understanding of you. What understanding? I'm not telling you. Longao smiled helplessly. Although he couldn't accept Yunqian, Longao liked her personality. There was no problem in becoming friends with her. Now that Yunqian had successfully devoured the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet, he believed that she would become the ruler of space in the future. Longao, I have some matters to attend to, so I can't find you. But you must promise me that nothing will happen to you. Longao couldn't stand Yunqian's concern. He just nodded. Yunqian and Longao immediately built a cave residence and then parted ways, each going their own way. Not long after she left, Yun Xian happened to run into her father and 2 elders from her clan. Father. Like a little girl who had done something wrong, Yun Xian lowered her head. Of course she knew what the cave meant. It was the clan's greatest secret. For so many years, her father and the 2 elders hadn't told anyone except her. Even if her father loved her, she seemed to have gone a little too far this time. And the result? Yun Lu only smiled. If Longao dared to devour the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet, he would be dead by now. Hearing her father's words, Yun Xian jumped in fright. She knew her father's personality well. If he could say it, then she believed he could do it. Father, Longao didn't devour the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet. The 2 elders behind Yun Lu were shocked. They never would have thought that Longao wouldn't be moved by the legendary Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet and even let Yun Xian devour it. If Longao liked Xian, then letting her devour the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet was understandable. But the result? Longao didn't like Xian at all. If that was the case, then Longao gave her the Chaos Wind Lightning Tablet. Xian, what's going on? Father, I don't know either. Yun Xian really didn't know because even now, she still couldn't figure out why Longao wasn't willing to devour the Chaos Stone Tablet. After all, the Chaos Stone Tablets weren't like other things. Once one refined the Chaos Stone Tablets, they would definitely become a ruler of the universe in the future. As for Yun Lu's group of 3, they'd similarly never imagined that after so many years of being unable to break through the formation of the abode and obtain the chaotic wind lightning steel, it would instead be obtained by Longao. It seemed that Longao was not a simple person. Forget it, this matter ends here. Longao is not bad. If it was in the past and Yun Lu said this, the 2 elders would definitely not take it seriously. But now, the situation was completely different. Even to a powerful race, the significance of the Wind and Lightning Primal Chaos Stone Tablet was simply too great. The 3 of them suppressed their joy and excitement because they knew very well that if Qian could really become the ruler of stars and master chaotic force, no one in the entire universe would be able to contend against their clan. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Qian, from now on, focus on refining the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet in your body. Don't go anywhere. Yun Qian was anxious now. Father, I can promise you that I will work hard to refine the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet in my body and become the ruler of stars in the future. But you must promise me that you will never let me go into seclusion. What a joke. Yun Qian was no fool, of course she knew what her father meant. But no matter who it was, she believed that no matter who it was, they would go into seclusion to refine the tablet. Because once they became the ruler of stars, they would be able to move unhindered in the vast universe and lead their clan to rise rapidly. If it was before, Yun Qian wouldn't have any problems. Whether it was for herself or for the clan, she would do so. But now, she absolutely couldn't do so. Qian, not giving Yun Lu a chance to speak, Yun Qian continued, Father, after this matter is resolved, I will go find Longao. I've already said that I am in charge of my own happiness. If you stop me, I would rather not refine the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet. Young miss, don't be rash. Young miss, the clan leader is doing this for your own good and for the clan. She waved her hand. Yun Lu stopped the 2 elders from continuing. Sighing deeply, he said helplessly, Since that's the case, Father will go along with you. But Father will still say the same thing. Whether or not Longao can marry you will depend on his ability. Thank you, Father. The Spirit Stone transmitted. Clan leader, are you really going to marry the young miss to Longao? Now that the young miss had successfully refined the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet and received the inheritance of sage wind and lightning, the young miss was the hope of the clan. How could she marry an outsider? When the time came, the entire clan wouldn't be willing. How could Yun Lu not know what the 2 elders were worried about? But he knew his daughter's personality all too well. For so many years, His daughter had never treated a man like this. Longao was the first. Thus, he was certain that his daughter really liked this man. If he forcibly separated the two of them, then things might backfire on him. Thinking of this, Yunlu transmitted with his spiritual sense, "We'll talk about this later. Right now, the most important thing is to settle that matter." Once Qian successfully refines the primal chaos tablet and becomes the ruler of the universe, if Longao really has the ability, then I'll marry Qian to him. Clan leader, what if the rest of the clan objects? The two elders naturally knew what the clan leader meant. Just for the chaotic wind and lightning stone tablet, they were already very grateful to Longao. Ordinary people wouldn't do such a thing. When Qian becomes the ruler of the universe, no matter who dares object, we'll kill them without mercy. Only by slaughtering could one intimidate others. Things had already come to this. Although the two elders didn't quite agree, they didn't know what to say. As the clan leader said, once the young miss became the ruler of the universe, no one would be able to stop her even if they dared. After leaving the cave, Longao prepared to leave the third plane. Although he and Gongsun he couldn't be friends, they were definitely not enemies. As long as Gongsun he didn't provoke him, Longao wouldn't provoke him either. No matter what, Gongsun he was still a half-step ruler of the universe. His strength was there for all to see. But in the end, it was unknown who leaked the information. Apart from Gongsun the other 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers, Bai Jing, Zhuge Ming, Xiaofeng, Zhou Bolai, Lu Mu, Kong Xiao, Fang Buping, and Wei Bujing all arrived and successfully blocked Longao's path. Chapter 25:18. The 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers surrounded Longao in 8 different directions. The 8 of them chose to join forces for the sake of their common interests. Bai Jing sneered. Longao, hand over everything you have and we'll let you die a quick death. Otherwise, not only you, but even the empire behind you will be destroyed with you. The 8 of them could kill almost anyone apart from the Starry Sky rulers. The 8 of them were very confident about this. But would Longao care? If it were anyone else facing 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers at the same time, they would have been scared out of their wits. Only Longao was not afraid of anything. He didn't even fear Starry Sky rulers, let alone half-step Starry Sky rulers. Longao smiled, his face full of indifference. Bai Jing seemed to have seen Longao's arrogance and wasn't surprised. The other 7, on the other hand, were shocked because they couldn't figure out what gave Longao so much confidence that he dared to be so arrogant. Not caring meant that he was ignoring them. Ignoring them meant that he didn't take them seriously. The ancestor of the 7th Starry Sky Empire, young Master Kong, sneered contemptuously. Longao, you're just relying on your Starry Sky divine weapon. Do you dare to fight us fair and square? Contempt. The 8 of them were looking at him with contempt. They were trying to provoke Longao, hoping that he would fall for it. Because the 7 of them had heard from Bai Jing about the Starry Sky divine tool on Longao's body. Even Bai Jing couldn't lock on to this Starry Sky divine tool. Just thinking about it made them realize how powerful this Starry Sky divine tool was. Bai Jing was the strongest among the 9, yet even she couldn't lock on to the Starry Sky divine weapon, let alone them. How could Longao not know what the 8 of them were trying to do? Although he had successfully cultivated the first axe of the Primal Chaos 9 axes, it was still a little difficult to kill a peak Starry Sky immortal, let alone one against 9. Regarding his own strength, Longao still had self-awareness. Are you afraid? The 8 of you want to fight me together? With 8 against 1, even if the 8 of them won, they would still lose face. However, given the current situation, the 8 of them could no longer care about anything else. As long as they could successfully kill off Longao and seize the treasures on Longao's body, they could afford to lose face. Bai Jing definitely wanted to kill Longao. However, the other 7 only hoped to obtain the treasures on Longao's body. As for Longao's life or death, they didn't care at all. Bai Jing said directly, "You can pick anyone. As long as you can win, we will let you go." Shameless. With the identity of the 8 of them, the words they said and the things they did could already be considered extremely shameless. It was precisely because they felt that the 8 of them had done something wrong that the 8 of them did not bring anyone with them this time. Instead, they came alone. Once Longao is killed, the news must be sealed immediately. As long as the news was not leaked, there was no such thing as losing face. "Bai Jing, why don't you fight me?" "Okay." Bai Jing had already guessed that Longao would definitely choose him, so he agreed without the slightest hesitation. In his opinion, as long as Longao did not hide in the starry sky divine tool, then not to mention one Longao, even 10,000 Longaos would not be his opponent. "Bai Jing, in order not to waste our time, how about we each attack the other with one move? One move to determine the winner." Longao's one move to determine the winner completely shocked the 8 of them. The 8 of them could not figure out what gave Longao the courage to fight Bai Jing in one move. They had seen arrogant people, but they had never seen such an arrogant person. However, it should be known that Bai Jing was the strongest among the 9 half-step starry sky dominators. Longao was only a starry sky legend. Unless a miracle happened, he could defeat Bai Jing in one move. Hearing Longao's one move to determine the winner, the 8 of them laughed. Their laughter was filled with endless contempt and contempt. "No problem. If you can defeat me in one move, I'll let you go." Longao smiled. With himself as the center, he formed a circle that was neither big nor small. What did this mean? The 8 of them were very curious. They did not know what Longao meant. Why did he draw a circle on the ground for no reason? "Bai Jing, you and I each attack the other in the circle. The one who leaves the circle loses. What do you think?" "So that's how it is." Bai Jing instantly understood Longao's meaning. After all, the difference in strength between the 2 of them was too big. Longao definitely could not win in one move, but it did not mean that he could not win in one move. However, before Bai Jing could speak, Longao said with a smile, "It doesn't matter if you don't agree. If I want to disappear, I'm afraid none of the 8 of you can stop me." The 8 people's faces were very gloomy, as unsightly as they could be. "Okay, I'll fulfill your wish." Bai Jing sneered. If he did not agree, wouldn't it tell everyone that he was afraid of Longao and did not take Longao seriously at all? In his opinion, the biggest reason why Longao dared to be so arrogant was because he had a heaven-defying starry sky divine artifact. As for his strength, he could not withstand a single blow. Bai Jing did not hesitate at all. She followed the circle that Longao had drawn and drew an identical circle around herself. "Longao, don't say I didn't give you a chance. I'll let you go first." In fact, Bai Jing was just being polite. After all, whoever made the first move would have a better chance. If he made the first move and killed Longao, Longao would not even have a chance to make a move. How could Longao not know Bai Jing's intention? He sneered in his heart. However, he did not hold back. In this situation, he did not have many opportunities. Of course, he had to make the first move. Otherwise, this bet would be meaningless. In that case, I won't hold back. Hearing Longao's impoliteness, the 8 people were a little dumbfounded, especially Bai Jing. He thought Longao would be polite, but he did not expect that Longao would take this opportunity to make a move. In fact, Bai Jing was also very afraid of the starry sky crack. If it was a head-on clash, he would not be afraid. However, he was afraid of such a bet because Longao could break the starry sky crack. Even with his strength, he was very afraid of the starry sky crack. Not to mention him, Even a Starry Sky ruler would not dare to face the Starry Sky crack head-on. Bai Jing was almost certain that Longao would use the Starry Sky crack this time. Knowing that Longao would use the Starry Sky crack, why did Bai Jing agree? The biggest reason was that Bai Jing had asked the other 7 people to seal the space here. With 7 half-step Starry Sky rulers working together, they did not believe that Longao could break open the Starry Sky crack. Chapter 25:19. The 7 half-step Starry Sky rulers joined forces to lock down the space here. Whether Longao could break open the space crack or not, the 8 of them were confident. If he could still break it like this, then Longao was a little too strong. One move to decide the winner. Longao and Bai Jing each stood in their own circle. The two looked at each other and saw endless killing intent and fighting spirit in each other's eyes. They couldn't lose. Longao, come. End the battle quickly. Bai Jing seemed to be impatient. Anyway, he was sure that Longao couldn't beat him out of the circle in one move. When he attacked, he must succeed. Because Bai Jing knew very well that this was his chance. The primal chaos axe appeared in his hand. Before Longao attacked, Bai Jing said, "Longao, we're attacking with our bare hands, but you're using a divine weapon. Don't you think it's a bit, bare hands?" He didn't say bare hands before. How could Longao not know about Bai Jing's worries? Even the 8 of them were wary of his Starry Sky divine weapon. "Bai Jing, are you afraid?" Just as Bai Jing was about to say something, Kong Xiao suddenly said, "Bai Jing, are you afraid of him?" Bai Jing had seen Longao's Starry Sky divine weapon, but the other 7 hadn't. The 7 of them had always believed that with their cultivation level, ordinary Starry Sky divine tools were simply useless to them. If Longao's Starry Sky divine tool was really so powerful, why would he need to waste time here? They believed that he would have already taken action. The 7 of them couldn't wait any longer. They couldn't figure out what would happen even if Longao used a weapon. Bai Jing's heart was extremely depressed. If this continued, he would lose all his face. He gritted his teeth. In the end, Bai Jing nodded and said, "I want to see how you're going to force me out of this circle today." Bai Jing gathered all the energy in his body outside, forming a powerful chi shield. Not only that, in order to ensure that nothing would go wrong, Bai Jing had even used her first secret realm. In other words, if Longao wanted to force Bai Jing out of the circle, he would have to first shake her first secret realm. So far, there were a total of 9 secret realms in the vast Starry Sky, and each of them had been devoured by 9 different people to become a half-step Starry Sky ruler. Back then, Bai Jing had devoured the first secret realm, which was why she was called the first half-step Starry Sky ruler. Bai Jing was very confident in his secret realm. However, he would not use his first secret realm unless he had no other choice. The first secret realm? Longao, who was just about to make his move, suddenly felt an extremely terrifying power being released from the white crystal. He had already sensed Miao Linger's secret realm before, so he wasn't unfamiliar with the aura of the secret realm. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Ha 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 ha! When they saw Longao's grave expression, Bai Jing and the other 7 people started to laugh maniacally. Unless a Starry Sky ruler descended, no one would be able to shake a mystic realm. Just based on Longao alone? The 8 of them were almost certain that even Longao wouldn't be able to do it. Seemed like Longao had not expected Bai Jing to use her first secret realm. Longao, weren't you really arrogant earlier on? Why aren't you attacking? Are you afraid? Bai Jing and the others were certain that Longao was afraid. After all, the power of the first secret realm was there for all to see. If Longao couldn't take them down in a single move, they would have to wait for them to strike and activate the power of the first secret realm. By then, how confident would Longao be in defending against them? Lin Fan did not reply. He merely snorted coldly. If it were before, Longao knew that he wouldn't have to attack at all. After all, given his strength, there was no way he could break through the energy shield of the other party's first secret realm. But right now, the situation was different. He had already successfully cultivated the first axe of the Chaos 9 axes, Hell Devouring. Longao was very clear about the power of the Chaos 9 axes. Although it was only the first axe, he believed that he had at least a 30% chance of breaking through the first secret realm. Since things had come to this, he could only give it a try. Holding the Chaos axe tightly with both hands and taking deep breaths, Longao still did not attack. He was waiting for an opportunity. Looking at Longao's performance, the 8 of them shook their heads in disdain. Indeed, it was better to meet him in person than to hear about him. In the vast starry sky, it was rumored that Longao was extremely arrogant. The 8 of them were full of contempt and mockery, but most of them were contemptuous. Just as Bai Jing was laughing out loud again. At this moment, Longao seized this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and swung the Chaos Axe at Bai Jing. The first axe of the Chaos 9 axes, Hell Devouring. The 7 people in the surroundings, including Bai Jing, were still laughing. However, in an instant all 8 of their faces changed. They had a feeling that the 8 of them were in hell. What was going on? Bai Jing was completely frightened. But with the help of the first secret realm, he was still full of confidence. He did not believe that Longao could break through his secret realm's air shield. If that was the case, he could just kill himself. Force with force. When Bai Jing came back to his senses, the Hell Devouring was already there. He thought that with the first secret realm, he could completely ignore Lin Fan's attack. But in the end, Bai Jing was completely flustered. This was because he did not know why, but in an instant, he could feel that Longao's attack was not to be underestimated. If he were to fight force with force, he might be able to withstand it. But if something were to happen, he would be completely finished. He did not dare to take the risk. He could not take the risk. This was because Bai Jing knew very well that if he lost the bet, not only would he be betting on whether Longao would leave, but he would also be betting on his own life. Therefore, he could not take the risk this time. At this critical moment, Bai Jing was finally scared. He took a few steps back and was out of the circle. Seeing this situation, the 7 of them were completely dumbfounded. Because before this, they would never have thought that with Longao's strength, he could force Bai Jing to retreat. It was a complete thing. Even if they saw it with their own eyes, they still couldn't believe it. Was this real? There was not the slightest crack in the starry sky within the circle. Longao had controlled his strength very well. Because in this way, even the 8 of them did not know how powerful his move was. Bai Jing stood in place and stared at Longao, who was not far away. His expression changed again, and it was extremely cold. This was because until this moment, he still could not believe that he had been defeated and was forced out of the circle by Longao. As for whether the strength of Longao's attack could bring him danger, he would not know until he tried it himself. Chapter 25-20. He had lost. He had lost. He was indignant and unwilling to admit defeat. But the truth was right in front of him. He had no choice but to admit defeat. Goodbye. Longao was clear in his heart that he had gained a huge advantage by forcing Bai Jing out of the circle. If not for Bai Jing's carelessness, he would not have succeeded so easily. One could never be careless in a fight between powerful beings. Longao, you want to leave? Longao said in disdain. Don't tell me you guys don't want to admit defeat? They had already agreed that as long as he could defeat Bai Jing in a single move, he could leave. But the result? Kong Xiao snorted coldly, extremely displeased in his heart. In the eyes of the 7 of them, The reason why Bai Jing was defeated was because he was scared and coward. He did not even try to fight it head-on. If he had tried to fight it head-on, would Longao have succeeded? That was **t. But because of Bai Jing's strength, the 7 of them could only grumble in their hearts. They did not dare to say it out loud. Even if they knew that Bai Jing had lost, they could not let Longao leave just like that. An opportunity like this did not come by often. If they missed this chance, who knew when the next one would come? They could not let Longao leave. The old ancestor of the 4th Starry Sky Empire, Xia Feng, sneered and said, "Longao, you just used one move against Bai Jing to decide the winner, but you didn't use one move against us, am I right?" Shameless. The 7 of them were shameless to the extreme. Even though they did not say it out loud, everyone knew that as long as Longao could defeat Bai Jing, he would win. But for the treasure in Longao's hands, the 7 of them were ready to go all out. Ha 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 ha. Longao did not say anything, but the meaning behind his laughter was clear. This was like a few tight slaps on the faces of the 8 of them. It was exceptionally loud. 8 half-step Starry Sky rulers joining forces to act so shamelessly. If this matter were to spread out, the 8 of them would lose all face. The faces of the 8 of them were as ugly as it could get. However, they did not give up. In order to obtain the treasures in Longao's hands, they had long since thrown their faces away. The 8 of you can come at me together. Arrogant. However, Longao did have the right to be arrogant. After all, as a Starry Sky legend, he had forced a half-step Starry Sky ruler to retreat. Longao could be said to be unprecedented. Bai Jing did not speak again. Even if she was unwilling to accept the result, the fact was already decided. The only way now was to kill Longao as soon as possible and completely seal this matter. She could not let it leak out. The 8 of them didn't say anything else. Since he was already shameless, he would continue to be shameless. Right at this moment. The 8 of you, 8 against 1, yet you still act so shamelessly. Don't you think you're going too far? Gongsun He suddenly appeared. After all, this was the 3rd plane, which was Gongsun He's territory. Originally, the 7 of them wanted to join forces against Gongsun He, but Bai Jing strongly opposed it. The reason was simple. The alliance between Gongsun He and Longao was not a secret. Although Gongsun He did not save them, no one knew which side Gongsun He was on. In order to make sure nothing went wrong, the 8 of them finally decided to exclude Gongsun He from this matter. However, they did not expect that Gongsun He would suddenly appear and stop them. What should they do then? Gongsun He was also a half-step Starry Sky ruler. Even if he could not defeat the 8 of them, it was impossible for them to kill Gongsun He. This matter could not be delayed. The longer they delayed, the more unfavorable it would be for the 8 of them. Gongsun He, are you courting death? Ha ha ha, courting death? Let's see who's the one courting death today. Longao seemed a little surprised by Gongsun He's sudden appearance. Even he did not expect that Gongsun He would appear at this time. He believed that Gongsun He knew very well what it meant to appear here. As long as the 9 of them did not encounter something like the Primal Chaos Tablet, they would not turn against each other and would live in peace. However, Gongsun He's appearance at this time showed his attitude. He believed that from now on, the 8 of them would join forces to deal with Gongsun He. It was not worth it for Gongsun He to do this for himself. Even so, Longao only treated Gongsun He as a friend at most. As for a close friend, it was almost impossible for him to be friends with someone like Miao Ling. Longao was almost certain that Gongsun He only acted because he was not afraid of the 8 of them joining forces. If he encountered the Starry Sky ruler, he believed that Gongsun He would choose to close the door and not do anything like last time. However, could Gongsun He be blamed? In the face of a powerful existence like the Starry Sky ruler, no one in the vast universe would dare to provoke the Starry Sky ruler. Gong Sun He, why are you doing this? Gong Sun He smiled and said, Brother Long, what happened before was my fault. However, I have already said that I will definitely become friends with you. This time, Gong Sun He seemed to be exceptionally resolute. The 8 of them had ugly expressions. What they were afraid of really happened. Xia Feng sneered and said coldly, Gong Sun He, don't think that just because you devoured the secret realms that the 8 of us can't do anything to you. Even if we can't kill you, we can still seal you or send you into the cycle of reincarnation. I don't believe that you can defeat the 8 of us alone. The 9 secret realms were actually not that different in strength. Therefore, the 9 of them could not do anything to each other, nor could they kill each other. The most they could do was seal them or send them into the cycle of reincarnation. However, unless it was absolutely necessary, no one was willing to do that. Because once they did that, they would not rest until one of them was dead. If that really happened, then there would only be one outcome. Both sides would suffer. It would not benefit anyone. However, the current situation was completely different. With the 8 of them joining forces, even if they completely fell out with Gong Sun He, the 8 of them would not have the slightest fear. When the time came and Gong Sun He came looking for trouble, the 8 of them could choose to ignore him. Was Gong Sun He really not afraid? Of course not. However, Gong Sun He's intuition told him that Longao was definitely not a simple person. If he could become friends with this person, it would definitely be beneficial for him in the future. As for the threat of the 8 of them, of course Gong Sun He was afraid. However, after thinking about it, he chose Longao. Longao did not say anything because he also wanted to see what Gong Sun He would do. The 8 of them joining forces would definitely be strong enough to suppress Gong Sun He. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.